We're here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kino Corner. After so long of technical difficulties, we are hopefully here and hopefully here for the entire time. How y'all doing today?
Hopefully.
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 I am joined here today by Mr. Dr. Jones and Mr. Zero Dark Long, the littlest of
Hello.
guys.
Oh yeah. What up?
Yo. Hello.
How are y'all
How
doing this
goes?
fine day?
Just finished dinner, so I'm vibing, as the kids would say.
Yes, we had more
Yep.
energy a bit ago, and it's gonna pick up, but like technical difficulties just but it seemed to have passed. Knock on wood. But as some of you could tell at the bottom right, today's episode is going to be a little different. I wanted to branch out a bit in my topics of the podcast. Normally, the idea was to talk about movies and just maybe bring out like one or two we talk about. I want to, on some of the broader topics, I want to narrow the focus a bit. You'll see that a bit when we get to the wheel at the end. But I also want to talk about other, not just film, but shows and the likes, like that I just have a passion for, or just maybe people have a general passion for, like certain blocks of entertainment, etc. So last time, Mr. Griffin did a guest to size, and we're gonna end up talking about Cartoon Network, specifically
Cartoon Network.
specifically the early days of Cartoon Network, around like 2006, 2007, around that time. There is a networking shift in that channel. So I'm just gonna say anytime before then. There's
I feel like the late 2000s is when it really shifted.
yeah.
Yup.
Like plus it works for me because like I watched Cartoon Network a little bit into the 2010s, but the 90s and early 2000s, that's like my heydays. And
Oh yeah. I think I kind of stopped it around 2008 or 9 because
Yeah.
I was like 17 by then.
Oh yeah. And we'll
Yeah.
we'll get
I didn't like cartoons.
From my perspective, it was probably like 2012 since I was already like 13 and I was mostly on PC. Then I was, cable. I usually would watch, YouTube where it became the norm, to be honest.
oh yeah.
We shall discuss soon.
We'll discuss
Yes.
we will discuss that soon. Now, um I but a lot of things have happened in, well, not actually, not a lot has happened in movie news, but there are some important events that I want to address here at the Kino Corner before the conversation start to get a little more upbeat or start to get more, I guess, emotional. We want to address certain bits of movie news before anything else happens. Um, since the last episode of the Kino Corner, there has been two celebrity deaths that I think are worth bringing up. One that everyone would, well, at least most people would be familiar with. One that not everybody would be familiar with, but is very uh it it's very relevant to the topic at hand, and I would be remiss if I didn't. So to start with the latter first, uh, very recently we lost George Lowe. He was the voice of Space Ghost and did other several voices for like the Brack Show, Cartoon Planet, even Aqua Teen Hunger. He played Space Ghost at Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and he basically was this character throughout. Like
Oh yeah.
Yep.
he Space Ghost in a weird way is like the perfect symbol of like the early days of Cartoon Network, like the early 90s when it was just like those old superhero shows, the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels sad to lose an icon like this. Not many
Well, what
people.
did you do Space Ghost for? Or how long was Space Coast on?
Space Ghost Coast to Coast, 1993 to 2012.
Damn, 2012.
100,
Dang.
113 episodes.
Yeah, I thought they got shut off like 2005 at the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
man.
thought.
Yeah. He did other things outside of Space Ghost, of course. Uh, he was very prevalent in Adult Swim in general, just being things like the Brack Show, C Lab 2021. He's in Celebrity Deathmatch. Holy crap!
Yes, he
Squidbillies.
was.
I think he's like in an episode of Venture Brothers as well as a guest star or guest voice.
Yeah,
Wait,
he was, American Dad for sure.
he was. Yep, he was Cyrus Mooney in American Dad. He was in Robot Chicken, 12-Ounce Mouse. He played himself in, or rather, he played Space Ghost in Jellystone. He locked himself into this character in a way that I think a lot of people would aspire to do, and
Mm.
losing him is a tragedy. Before we get to the moment of silence, I want because there are two. I don't want to set. I want it to just be an extended moment of silence for not just George Lowe, but for the other celebrity. He did a few promos dressed as Space Ghost too. He did. I've seen a few of those early days of Cartoon Network. They were wonderful. Um, the other celebrity death that did occur is one that more people would be familiar with. Gene Hackman,
The
the
hacking man.
the hacking man. Gene Hackman is immediately recognizable. I am of the opinion that if you have seen any movie or have seen like any collection of movies made between like the seven those aired between like the late 60s and early 90s, there is a damn good chance that you saw Gene Hackman in something and didn't even realize it.
Yep.
All right. He's a legendary actor.
Like obviously some of his most famous roles were Lex Luthor. Like that's what a lot of people I've been seeing have been recognizing him as in the original.
Really?
I know. Like
Superman 1 and 2.
yeah, I know. A lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forgot he was that.
Yeah.
I did too, not gonna lie.
No,
when I think of Gene Hackman, I think of other movies before Superman.
same. Honestly, same.
I didn't really watch Superman as a kid because I remember seeing it and just thinking it was lame.
Yeah, I'm looking through a lot. Like he's been a lot of. Oh god, he was the blind man in Young Frankenstein. See, that just proves my point, though.
Mm-hmm.
That just proves my point. Like he's just there when you least expect him. Like, yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, like I know there's other
Yeah.
movies that are very more like the Oscar crowd would be like, oh, like he's such a like things like The French Connection and fucking Hoosiers and shit like that. Hoosiers is a good movie. It's just
Night Moves, Bite the Bullet,
yeah,
French Connection 2, technically.
technically. Oh yeah, he was in the Birdcage.
Yeah, I think he played Robin Williams' dad, or was he the straight dad?
I think he was the senator. I just saw.
I
Yes,
don't know.
Senator Keeley. I have no idea who. I usually think of the Poseidon Adventure. That's a good one. Honestly, same. Uh,
Yeah, 72.
oh, fuck. Why'd you have to remind me he was in Twilight? It's all gonna come back down to.
Twilight.
Twilight.
Wait, is this a different? Oh, this is a different Twilight. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, because his last movie was Welcome to Mooseport back in 04.
Yeah, this is a different Twilight
Twilight.
from '98.
Yeah.
This is like a spy thriller.
Twilight, not the movie.
He would have
The
made that
vampire
movie so much better.
Yeah, he would have.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, not by much, but but no. He so yes, Gene Hackman is a very is a classically trained actor, and even though these two men basically occupy different niches in the public eye, the world is a lesser place without either of them in it. So I would like to offer a moment of silence for both. All right. Thank y'all for that. It's like it doesn't happen all the time, but I feel like it's been happening more and more lately that we lose awesome celebrities, and I try to like I can't get every celebrity death on the Kino Corner. Unforgiven as well. He was in Unforgiven, but I can't get every celebrity death on the Kino Corner. But I'm gonna try to include whenever there's one that I have something to say about, or one that I feel people would like recognize. I will include it. I was about to only include Gene Hackman, but as soon as I saw the news about George Lowe, given the weekly topic, I was like, no, this is too relevant, and I know George Lowe from his old shorts and Space Ghost is just like a little piece of me, so it had to be included. But
if I say one more thing, you forgot one celebrity.
Oh,
Michelle Trachtenberg.
That's right.
Gossip Girl.
Oh no.
Buffy, Eurotrip.
Oh yeah.
I feel like her death got overshadowed.
It did. Hell, case in point.
Dude, she's only 5 years older than me. That's weird.
Yeah. You posted it too. There it is. Yeah. There it is. Oh gosh. Harriet the Spy. Damn.
Damn.
Case in point, I can't get everybody, but like none of the celebrity deaths are they're all worth talking about. We're in this weird age where like we're losing more and more people from like our childhood, so it's just like it's just starting to hurt more.
I mean, I feel like that's inevitable just because these people were later adults when we were kids, and now they're old when we're adults.
Yeah, it's inevitable, and I know it's inevitable. It just doesn't make it hurt. It makes it hurt a little bit less, but it doesn't make it go away completely. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I there's a lot of celebrity deaths that I just no matter how much I'm going to mentally prepare with it, like I know one day it's just going to happen. I know when they do, it's going to just be pain, just pain. So yeah, like like I know for most people that was Robin Williams, but yeah, there's a lot of. But to move on from this, as like we're gonna try to keep the negativity here in this section, the solemn bit of remembrance, because moving on there is some more upbeat things or more complex things to talk about later before we get to our main topic, which is Cartoon Network, which will be a more fun discussion. But
yeah,
the first bit of news after all that, of course, a slight update that I do think is worth talking about. Previously, we did learn that what is his name? Krieger?
Maybe. I don't know.
Guy made Barbarian. I literally messaged y'all his name and I can't remember it.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Zach Krieger.
Zach Krieger. There it is. Zach or Krieger. Yeah, we knew from a while ago that he was doing a Resident Evil movie. Since then, there have been two notable updates about that are worth discussing. One is this movie has a projected release of next year, next winter. The
Do we know if it's Resident Evil 1 or like is it like specifically like anything do we know of?
It seems to be it's like implied Resident Evil 1, but nothing's confirmed.
All they've really said is like they're gonna go back to more of the horror elements, and who knows what that means. Correct. So if they make it the Resident Evil 1 stick to kind of how it felt, sure, that would work.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other interesting bit of news that it does kind of go back to something that we freaking called is that movie studios are going forward. That it's becoming more and more clear that video game movies are going to become the next like thing. Like we've just passed the superhero movie era. Now video game movies are going to be the thing, and now we know that Sony has acquired the filmmaking rights for Resident Evil movies going forward.
I'm excited about that just because the last iteration of Resident Evil as a whole franchise was, of course, the original movies that came out. It was just an action flick, not much of a horror flick, to be honest. But the recent one was the Netflix series, which in itself was interesting. But dear God, it didn't need to be a Resident Evil name. Like, it didn't have to be a name. It could have been something as a spinoff.
You talking about the newer movie that came out?
The series on Netflix that came out.
Oh yeah, the series.
The one that literally just destroyed its entire identity.
I mean, like the people who wrote that did not even know what Resident Evil was.
Yeah. Dang.
Pardon the crinkles. I have a water bottle to keep me hydrated, but
no, you're good.
Like Resident Evil to me is always a franchise. So I've never really played it. It's very easy for me to see the influence it has, because like everybody I know, I feel plays it or has played it.
Yeah, one of the games. I think 4 is really the only one I've ever really played.
Well, I can at least contest that I played 4 when I was probably 7, and then I just kept playing the games as they came out, thankfully. And the entirety of the game and the dynamic of like how the themes were very unique to its time, very early 2000s. And what I mean by that is that everything was about innovation and storytelling. We didn't have the luxury for at least my family to actually, go out to the movies and just experience things. So when Resident Evil 4 came out, it was more of like, oh, I could actually experience horror while controlling a character? Hell yeah. So when I guess like Resident Evil 5 came around and why it was such a I guess like a cool thing for me and my brother is that we played it together since it was a co-op experience. And that in itself was just like, whoa, we never thought we would ever be able to play a game that is an action horror at the end of the day. It's not like the original 1, 2, and 3 where it was mainly horror based. It became action horror over the series.
And I don't want to go too far to the video game aspect of it, but one thing I do want to confirm, isn't Resident Evil, didn't it basically start the survival horror genre as we like know it today?
To my knowledge, yes. Mainly that there wasn't many games like Resident Evil, like where it became story plus horror. Most of the horrors were very gimmicky, if you remember back in the day, like the slashers. They were very, one tonality, at least to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure nowadays it's like, oh, they actually do have a little bit of flavor and kick to it. But yeah, Resident Evil had horror plus storytelling that it would eventually continue, which was strange for its time.
Griffin remains skeptical and weary about Sony having Resident Evil rights. I think it's possible. It's possible they'll do good. I feel Sony just in general does better with horror than well.
I guess what I can say is that I have a hope that it's the animation side, because I want the people of the Spider-Verse to get their hands on a Resident Evil, but that's just later down the road. Like that's
they need
something I could
Spider-Verse
see
first.
Yeah,
exactly right. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe they're almost done cooking out of that, and then we could finally proceed with other IPs that they could use that animation studio for.
Almost in cooking. If they keep going with Spider-Verse, it's gonna end up burnt. But
exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like I honestly like I it's worth talking about for Sony, but I trust Zach Kreger more than I trust Sony. So I don't mind that they have it, because I know you mentioned earlier before we were like planning on going through all this stuff, you didn't see Barbarian. I did. It's very different, and if he gets the same kind of crew that did do Barbarian, that did that kind of those kind of like humanoid monster kind of things going on there, there might be something here. This might be just kind of like a little bit of horror magic that Resident Evil needs. But again, I'm not the right no matter what's going to happen when this comes out, I can only judge it as a competent film. I am not equipped to judge this as an adaptation of Resident Evil. So I'm going to rely on like y'all and Griffin and Kitty Man to fill in those blanks for me.
Gotcha.
Well, don't rely on me. I haven't really played much of them.
Yeah, for through all the series, that's what I've been keeping up with. Any of the older ones, I was just too young to even comprehend of like what were you supposed to do. So I've been having to rely on Keelan and my brothers for that little tidbit of the original Resident Evil trilogy.
Well, hell yeah. But yeah, it remains to be seen what we'll ultimately experience with Resident Evil. But news update is as of this podcast recording, the release date is aiming for next winter. And it is for sure Zach Greger is working with Sony to make it happen. So, if you're a Resident Evil fan, keep your fingers crossed. The next
or don't. I'm not your mother.
or don't. The next bit of movie news. This one kind of caught me off guard, but I think it's just fascinating. Is Keanu Reeves is doing his Berserker story. I know it's Berserker, but I look at how it's spelled and I just want to call it Berserker.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I want him to say it like that, like I'm Keanu Reeves. This is a Berserker. So I haven't read it. Yeah, I haven't read the comic either. Like it looks cool, but
I skimmed it on Wikipedia briefly, and apparently the first one sold pretty well. I think it sold like over 600,000 copies, and it was like the first time a comic like that sold out since Star Wars in like 2015. I don't know.
Oh damn!
I don't know. I remember seeing it come out online, but that's as far as I went with it.
If it's online, I might have to read it there. The only I'm going off of the thumbnail, like just the basic summary for this one. So it's about a half mortal, half god who wandered the world for centuries. Apparently, this is like set in modern times.
Yeah, from my understanding of what I heard from a few people, that it's like modern times Thor kind of mentality.
So Keanu Reeves is just Thor, but not.
Yeah, something along the lines of him being a demigod.
I mean, I'm down for that. And the other part of it, we don't want to skim this over because even Keanu Reeves is obviously a big part of it because Berserker, but it is being directed by Justin Lin. I know that name. What did Justin Lin do? Let's look that up, everybody.
Oh, that name sounds familiar too.
Justin Lin. Oh, fuck. I now know what kind of movie this is going to be.
So what did he do?
I just see a whole bunch of the recent Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, Justin. Oh, okay.
He did Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I now understand exactly what kind of movie this is going to be. My expectations
online.
My expectations are now firmly planted.
Bad boy. The fuck?
What
name title?
Fast and the Furiouses did he do?
A lot.
Fast 9 all the way up to X.
Oh, he did Fast 9. God, Fast.
He did Fast 5.
I didn't even watch Fast 9. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, he did
Fast 6.
Fast 6.
You don't need to.
I just lost interest. I'm not gonna lie. After 5,
5, 6, 9, and Fast X. It looks like
7 is good, but that's only because if Paul Walker didn't die, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Yeah, fair.
Looking at what else he did that I would know. 8, yeah, Space Jam.
I actually have not seen that yet.
The new one.
Oh, he did the Warrior.
Fine.
What?
Oh
he
shit!
Did the Warrior. The Warrior is actually decent. I actually thought it was great. The Warrior is a show of the 1800s, where martial arts prodigy from China comes to San Francisco.
Oh, I watched like 6 episodes of that.
For the most powerful Tong in Chinatown. Dude, if this is as good as that series, I'd actually go watch it. And I don't even know if it's a series. Do we know if the Berserker is going to be a series or an actual movie?
Thank you for
I
latching on to that.
Laughing.
The Berserker. Look at the news here.
Yeah, it's called Warrior. That's the only thing that actually is genuinely hyped for, because I only heard of it. I've been told it was great, and I will believe it because it actually has really good martial arts, just even from the I guess like the trailers that you see. Like it actually represents that pretty well.
So it looks like it's going to be a movie. So all right, so it being directed by Justin Lin. Keanu Reeves is writing it with Matt Tomlin and Matt Kint, which looks like they were people who helped write the comic.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
that is good. Yeah,
that's a very good sign.
Always Hollywood interference, but
yeah,
you know,
that's
truer to the source material.
Yeah. I feel like Warrior is talked about enough, to be honest. I haven't heard of it, so I'm gonna I'm
gonna go watch that after this. I'm gonna
hey, that Banshee.
Yeah. So yeah, that's literally all we know. Like Keanu Reeves stars, Justin Lin is directing, and the writers seem to be pulled from the people who did the comic and or have worked with Keanu Reeves in the past. So this has potential to just be a really fun modern action movie. Could be great. I'm gonna have to look up this comic myself later.
Yep, it would be something to pin.
So I can find a download.
I just think it's fascinating that we have now reached the point where we trust Keanu Reeves enough to really like, yeah, do whatever you want. But for some reason, despite him saying on that fucking talk show he wants to, are we doing Constantine 2 yet? Or are we just gonna have to do everything but?
They're talking about it, but I feel like he's just kind of too old.
Yeah. And I know. Okay, I've seen clips of other like iterations of DC, like from Legends of Tomorrow and other fucking shows, and I do not like most CW shows. However,
they're awful.
However, the guy that got to play Constantine, I think in Legends of Tomorrow, because I saw that clip of.
Yes.
I saw the interaction between him and Lucifer. It's like this actually looks like a decently cast Constantine. What the fuck? He can do it.
Yeah, they actually went really hard on the series, because I've watched all of CW. I think I missed like a few episodes of Black Lightning. I think that was the only series I just couldn't find a source to actually watch the final seasons. But yeah, tomorrow, they actually casted Constantine very well, and they wrote him very well, in my opinion. Out of all the characters that I've seen, like the Flash, Green Arrow, and it was called, I think, Batwoman, it was really weird. I won't lie. I don't really have an opinion of that because I haven't cared. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really cared about the series.
Oh, there's this. The CW is a whole hot mess. That if I work it up to it, I might make that a topic for one podcast. Just the CW superhero shows. But
the sad thing too is like the first 2 seasons of Arrow were actually pretty good.
Yeah, they were.
And at least the first season of The Flash was okay.
I've heard that
they just went
the quality of The Flash just goes up and down, but then after a certain point, it's just down.
Oh yeah, no.
It takes a nosedive pretty hard.
Oh, CW. Oof. But to change tone a little bit for something that I think people are excited for, we're going to talk about some trailers. Wait, no. We're talking about some trailers. All right. There's only 2 trailers. I still think because we're just after the Super Bowl and most of the trailers have no really reason to come out. There's only 2 that are worth talking about. I could talk about the Bambi horror movie or Screamboat Willie, but I'm just nah. Look those up yourself. They looked so bad.
Grimbo Willie, Jesus.
Oh, dude, if it's so cringy.
Oh God.
But the first trailer is for Gunslingers, a new Nicolas Cage movie that he is all over the marketing. They are really hammering home Nicolas Cage is in it, even though you watch the trailer, you start to realize he's only really a side character, isn't he?
Yeah, I know this weird Nicolas Cage resurgence he's been trying to do. Because the last few years, he's been in a shit ton of movies.
Oh yeah. He's in this movie to pay off his mortgage. He's in this movie to buy his kid a new car. He's
in the one also coming out soonish where he plays like a surfer mercenary.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, he is.
Which is weird. Is I saw the clip last year of that, but it's coming out next year. I'm like, ooh.
Is this a midlife crisis or an end of life crisis?
It might be an end of life since he's older.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be morbid about this, but and jokes aside though, when you do watch the trailer, he's still Nicolas Cage. He still has that unique brand of crazy energy about him. He's still going to be funny as hell. But
that's all the ketamine.
Yeah, it's all that ketamine. But when I watch that trailer, what I see more so than Nicolas Cage is this looks like a modern Western. Something like Magnificent Seven. That's less comedy.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, like
modern Magnificent Seven.
Like, more like original. The modern Magnificent Seven, I liked it, but it was more comedy focused than.
Oh yeah.
More original Magnificent Seven in terms of tone, or like old Western in terms of tone, like Tombstone, honestly.
Bone Tomahawk, yeah.
Like this is a very very serious, like more serious and grounded drama with a little bit of comedy brought in by Nicolas Cage's character. And honestly, like this seems like a fun, awesome like Western movie. I'm not the biggest fan of Westerns, but I might make time to go see this. This looks like very, very good. What do y'all think?
I do wish they go for it. I do wish they make more Westerns though.
I was gonna say
lacking.
I haven't seen that many Western films or like settings since I think 2 years ago with the one movie that I thought it was interesting. I never heard from it. I didn't even hear it was good, bad, or anything. It just went under the radar. Need to find out what the name was, but I really wish we had more Western movies again. I think that they have a place. I think it's really nice.
Even if it's just like a niche, but I wish they should do more Westerns. Even if it is just maybe do some comedies, do some. I think we tried, but I think they leaned too far into Western as just a tropey mess, because there was that brief instance where we had things like...
Oh, yeah.
Because we had things like Warrior's Way and Cowboys versus Aliens. And okay, I will defend Warrior's Way.
Hey, no, we do not talk about Cowboys versus Aliens.
I'm just saying, like, that film's existence by, like, there was a time where people just saw Cowboys as a novelty and not an actual, like, Western, like, they could actually make a movie about this shit. And I will defend Warrior's Way. I will defend Warrior's Way because the movie has cowboys versus ninjas versus carnies, and that's awesome. But
that's different, yeah. See, it's always weird because when I think of, like, Westerns, I think of shit my dead grandfather would watch, stuff from the 50s and 60s.
Yes.
That. But then you describe like modern Westerns. Well, there's cowboys, but there's zombies and ninjas.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're really in the future, but it's the past. Shit like that.
I feel like it's like such a douche saying it this way, but it feels like modern Hollywood is like seeing the idea of Westerns and that cowboy stuff as more of a costume to slap on other stuff than its own thing.
I want to go back to spaghetti Westerns only because it looked like the actors live there. Like they made the actors, that's something too, like Hollywood doesn't do. They don't make actors look like they're in the environment. They're not sweaty. There's not shit on them. They're not bruised or beaten up.
Yeah.
They're just like, I'm still pristine with a jawline.
I'm the chosen one, yes. Welcome to
Yeah.
the most rough and toughest place on earth. Look at my chiseled jawline, the scarless body, and perfectly straight teeth. Ching.
Yeah. Throw yourself out there like DiCaprio getting attacked by a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie, I think it has elements of that because a lot of modern actors they obviously want to make it look good, but I think it's at the very least, Gunslinger seems like a step in that direction.
I hope so. I've always liked westerns, and I hope they legitimately actually just make them good again instead of tropey.
Of course, yeah.
Because there's just a lot of, especially like you can move out of the generic desert western stuff. I mean, like westerns can technically go up to like BC and Canada and all that because there's stories up there about that.
Yeah, you could
like
make
Oregon
good
area.
modern Western stories. I don't want to bring it back to video games for too long, but fuck, Red Dead Redemption 2, you could make a good modern Western story. You just got to make a good fucking story.
And I'm honestly very surprised that they haven't. I mean, I'm sure people have tried, and we just haven't heard about it. But I'm very surprised that nobody has really tried to do a Red Dead show.
The only person I can think of that would like be really cool if they had done like a Western would be the people that made Bullet Train. I think that would actually knock it out of the park.
Okay, so if people who made Bullet Train made a Western, here's the thing. I think they should because it'd be entertaining as fuck. But I think that would also start to fall into the niche of just like it's not the classic Western. That's more that just like the good, the bad, the ugly. That would be more of just like it'd be more similar to that modern Magnificent Seven, if not a bit more action based. You see what I mean? Because like, and I'm not saying that would end up being a bad movie. I would see a movie like that, but I think what Alex is like talking about, and I kind of want this to happen too, is a return to at least a few classic westerns because there are just a few just pure drama, pure just like mano a mano gunslinging action. Like not everything is clean and pristine and magical. Like they are in this dirty town trying to defend it with their lives from some marauders. Nice and simple. Like just let the characters and the events play out because that's what most old westerns were, and that's why like you could, as much as I want to see the other movies, that kind of western, I'd at least like to see something like that come into fruition.
Yeah, we need to get off tropey shit. Yeah. But what people like shifts. I mean, I think people are still in the weird dying of the superhero and going to a little bit more of a fantasy thing.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a general audience.
Oh yeah. I don't trust the general audience, but that's actually a good segue to the second teaser.
No, because most people have shit taste, let's be real.
Yeah.
There are people who watch trailers. I work with a guy. He admitted this over work. He actually looks and reads reviews in like spoilers of movies before he goes to see it. But then he'll still go and see the movie. And I just go, what? That just takes all the mysticism and fun out of it.
Yeah, when I
understand people read reviews. I don't know how people do that.
I read some reviews, but I don't go into I'm not going to read the whole like addendum of like this is what I think of the movie. I'm going to look at how they scored it and specifically who scored it what way, and that's all I'm going to look at is that number because that tells me a lot. It gave me like before I went into Captain America: Brave New World, I saw that this like audiences seem to like it and critics seem to hate it, so it's probably going to be a decently fun, not wonderful, but decently fun movie. Sure enough, it met and in some ways exceeded my expectations. So like, but if he's going out of his way to just actually read spoilers, like read full reviews,
oh no, he said that, and I'm just like, oh, why? Have some fun.
No, yeah, like, yeah, like I don't think reading reviews is inherently bad. Again, if you just like look at the bare minimum, don't spoil yourself. But after to bring Bullet Train back into this, the reason I love that movie so much is I decided to test myself. I said I'm only going to watch the first trailer. I'm not going to look at any marketing. I'm just going to watch the first trailer, and I'm going to like watch it when it comes to the theaters. And I had some of the most fucking fun I've ever had seeing a new movie when I saw Bullet Train.
That's how I felt too.
Everyone needs to do that. Like after you see the first trailer for a movie, if you think this looks fun, I might see this in theaters. Hold on to that feeling and go see it in the theater. Like don't look up any more marketing. Like go out of your way to dodge it. Just go see it in the theater. Let that experience, the movie speak for itself. Because if it's a good movie, then you're gonna have some of the best fucking times in the world.
Oh, but some people don't want to do that. And I understand the mentality of you don't want to just pay and waste your time. I get that, but that's kind of the whole point of movies, shows, is that you watch it, you intake it, especially when stuff is like, oh no, or oh, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, the belief of suspense.
I mean, same thing applies to like video games. You get spoiled on like certain events in a game or a sequence, and then when you play it, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, that was a thing that people
don't get me started.
Yeah, instead of having like a genuine, oh, this is fucking cool.
Yeah, it becomes a novelty until you actually realize that's supposed to be a moment.
Yeah. Like, don't get me started. I could talk for hours about how the Pokemon fandom just can. I love Pokemon, but the Pokemon fans and leakers can eat a dick. But
yeah, I agree with you.
But I guess to move on from that, like
that they got away from us. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. To segue about how people suck, but it is time to talk about that teaser, the Shrek 5 teaser.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
I don't see what the big controversy is between everything, but
I don't think it looks bad, but it does look off. It looks different, and it wasn't until I talked with a coworker I realized there's two things. There's two main things that make it looks off, or that people are taking too far. One of them is the resolution, and I know that sounds going to be weird. Like look at like the first Shrek movie, everything looked and had this graininess to it. Like it almost looked cheap in a weird way, but that was part of its charm, and they kept that charm. Whereas this,
I wouldn't say it looked cheap. That's just what it looked like in times.
But they kept that, and now in Shrek 5, there's like that little bit of extra details, so now you can see like all the moving strands of hair, and like it's just that's a little off, and normally it'd be cool. The other thing, I know some people are pointing like, oh, the head shape's all wrong. I guess that's kind of it, but at the same time, they're older, so I got over that one pretty quickly.
Well, and that's one thing too. It's like, well, he's supposed to be older.
Yeah.
Yep. People change. I mean, like, yeah, here's a good thing. Look at yourself when you're 10, 20, 30, like every 10 years, you're going to change.
But yeah.
But I guess because they think it's 3D, it's always going to be the same.
Yeah,
I don't know. His daughter's right there.
Yeah,
she's
so dumb. I'm gonna give Zendaya a shot. I had no thoughts on that, but
no. I just meant like their daughters there. The last time you saw them, they were babies.
Like 16 years, at least 16 years have passed judging by this.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing that I think is throwing people off that I latched onto like the second time I watched the teaser is like the eyes. I know this sounds like a small thing, but when you look at this image and like the teaser again, the eyes on Shrek are more, they're just basically
close together.
They're more close together, but the pupils themselves are more black dots with a very thin brown ring. But if you look at the original, there are more detailed human eyes. Because of that, Shrek looks a little bit more cartoony. Just that little bit more.
And I don't think people understand too. Like you kind of have to chalk some of that up to just how
to style.
Sorry, I have Monster Hunter up, and someone posted a Palico little sticker that said middle class.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but like people don't seem to understand. Like DreamWorks arts and Pixar, Illumination, all the 3D CG studios, their art styles changed over time.
They have.
Pixar used to be kind of unique in what it did, but I swear to God, nowadays their human models at least look just like everything. You know what I mean?
Like, I will also say there is another good point I've seen is, like, we shouldn't be surprised by this, and we should be open to this change, because this is the exact kind of like little changes they did with the Puss in Boots sequel. And I will be the first to remind people, Puss in Boots and the Last Wish was a fucking banger.
Like, and people don't really remember the first one just looked generic, like Shrek 2 or 3 whenever that came out.
Yes, so like I will agree, these things are off-putting. They weird me out a little bit because of how different it is than the other 4 movies, but I'm slowly getting over it. And I'm going to give this movie a fair shake. I would like to see a full trailer, not just a teaser, but I think
I was going to say, the fact that this is a teaser, I have a hard time actually having an opinion for it, because it's just a cast trailer, to be honest. And I haven't really seen a cast trailer done like this where you get to see the animation. Usually they just tease it in a way of like, hey, papers flying, and then you see the back of them back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But this one actually shows their 3D models of what the movie will be like, and I've heard people say that they should boycott this to do what they did with Sonic. No. I'm like, no, that is not right for this kind of film. Like, it doesn't make any sense for it.
I understand why they think that. I understand why. But when I sat down to think about it, I'm just like, this doesn't look that bad. It looks different compared to the other 4 movies, and I do understand. But it's not that different when you get down to the nitty-gritty. So let's see a trailer first and give it a chance. You want to compare it to the fucking Sonic treatment? At least with Ugly Sonic, we waited till we got a full trailer before we started book on that fucking movie.
I still want to see the original design in the movie. I don't care what people want. Like, it's missed opportunity. What would a shadow look like, or Knuckles even?
Oh, dude, I love that picture where it takes Ugly Sonic but just paints him black with a red stripe. It's just like, remember what they took from us.
Yes, exactly.
I'm excited. I want to see a full trailer, but to me the best thing that came out of this teaser is we now have confirmation that Pinocchio has Shrek Rule 34.
Oh, God.
Yeah, to think about that for a second, but it is now canon in the Shrek universe that Pinocchio has Shrek Rule 34 on. Now, there is one joke that if they did this in the Shrek movie, would not only be a funny callback, but such a hilarious bit of dark humor that it would sell me to just give this movie a completely fair shot. We only see Zendaya, but Shrek is supposed to have 3 kids.
3, yeah.
What if they just do a passing joke that he basically ate the other 2? Because that's what ogres do, as mentioned in the previous movies.
No, they won't do that. It's too dark.
Well, what if they... That. I know, but what if they did? And they...
I mean, it'd be pretty hilarious.
Right.
It would be pretty hilarious.
And they'd have to just do a passing line, like maybe someone says, "Hey, whatever happened to the other kids?" And Fiona's like, "Oh, they tasted great." It's like, what?
Did you ever see somebody on Twitter last year says something about, I think it was like pointless something, I don't know. He says something in the degree of like, yeah, Shrek 5 is going to have some version of TikTok. And then we have some version of Shrek TikTok.
Oh, gosh.
Did you not catch that from the mirror?
Yeah,
I did catch it. I did catch it. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's inevitable. I mean, Shrek's always done pop culture, though, so it should be no one's surprise.
Oh, that's what made Shrek awesome. No. It's like a fairy tale setting, but with using like modern pop culture jokes in a funny way.
You know, speaking of Shrek, and this is really weird, I was at the store a couple hours ago, and I Need a Hero started playing. You can faintly hear it, but this woman and her kid walked by, and the kid goes, "Mom, that's a song from Shrek." And I had like a, oh God, where am I moment.
I would be so proud of just like, oh, some woman is raising their child correctly and showing them good animated movies.
Oh, I know. I just didn't expect that.
That would make me happy. That would fill me with joy. Because you don't see a lot of that nowadays of people actually getting the good animated movies from yesteryear and showing it to it, which they should. Like
they should.
But no, that's also a conversation for later. But I guess to move on to the next bit, new and recent films. This segment, to further elaborate on what's going on here, is if any of y'all have seen anything new recently, anything that's new that in theaters, or something that's just new to you've seen in the last week or two that you think is worth talking about. I have two things, but what do y'all anything?
I have like one, and I've been sitting on it for a little while.
What you got?
All right, so for me, it is the new season of Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm.
They finally did Daredevil Newborn, and I watched the first 2 episodes.
Newborn?
And dear God.
I think it's called Born Again.
Born Again, yeah.
Newborn.
Think about baby Daredevil.
God, oh God. The first episode just left an awkward taste in my mouth. The second one, I was like, okay, cool. But I don't know. That first episode got me a little
rough start.
A little confused. Let's just say the CG wasn't CGI, bro.
Oof.
Yeah, I heard they were gonna try and really be like Netflix, brutalistic. Which is which, you know, to be fair, is rare.
I don't think that was something I guess like was expecting. But to give you like context, I guess like it was a lot of green screen effect and like some I want to say foreground overlay of actors acting. It didn't feel like they're in the same room, and it felt awkward. It was not like in the same setting, like if you were to film the 3 of us on a couch and then I walked across you guys. Nah, it felt like y'all guys were on the couch, I walked across you guys, but in a different plate that's in the foreground. Like it didn't feel like it was connected in the same room, and it feels cheap. Like it really, really does. And the CGI they used was like smoke canisters, because that's one of the guys' thing. He just put like a canister of smoke, and that was CG smoke, and it did not fit the scene at all. It made it worse. It did not look genuine. Like they used practical effects, to be honest, and nothing about practical effects. But I'm like, that left a horrible taste in my mouth, because I'm like, are we going Sharknado kind of like vibe here or not? That's how bad it was, in my opinion.
I do want to give it.
That's disappointing.
Yeah,
that's just the first episode, so I'm gonna continue watching it. But I've been watching some of like the first, Daredevil from Netflix, and I'm just like, whatever they have is just crazy. Like back then to now, I'm like, what is going on? Like the story,
Marvel.
The story is, definitely going to be different. I'm open to it to see how that will be, but I will say that moving forward, I won't have, I guess, nearly the same hype as I thought it was going to be. Just because of that first scene was just so off-putting, in my opinion. It didn't even have like a 1 or anything like that. It's just them fighting, Daredevil fighting somebody. I won't spoil anything because it's not much to say, and it's the first episode. But yeah, it just didn't feel right. It felt fake. It felt like 2012 YouTube green screen effects.
Right. I do want to see it, but I haven't seen a lot of the old like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all that. And I told myself I want to, now that they're on Disney Plus, I want to watch all the Daredevil stuff beforehand and then watch Born Again.
Yeah. It's not really spoilers because it's been confirmed, but season 2 Daredevil, because they've already started filming season 2 of Daredevil, all the Defenders are going to be in it. So they're slowly trying to incorporate the Netflix into the MCU.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Which, Jessica Jones is a great show.
I don't know if the actor wants to do Jessica Jones anymore, though, to be fair.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I hope with recent developments in Marvel, I really hope this means that like they're starting to see the writing on the fucking wall and are at least going to make their mainline just wrap this shit up by 2030?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably
Yeah.
not, but I'm right now of the opinion with Marvel that they should have ended with Endgame. They need to end by Secret War.
I don't think they need to end. I just think they need to have more focus.
At least the
than they
mainline
used
continuity.
to.
At least the mainline continuity. You could still do shows like X-Men 97 and What If and shows like that. I have no problem with those. Like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I haven't seen it. I've heard mixed things. But those kind of shows that are just kind of loose in their own thing, yeah, I could do more of those. But their mainline continuity from these shows and movies, that needs to just... They need to wrap that up. Because it's starting to get insane.
Well, I figure this is always the path because at some point they've grown so big, but people have lives, and look at Blade. It's been fucking years since they've tried to do anything with Blade. They can't even get it through the fucking scripting.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree it needs to end at some point, but I would like to have some of it still because it's always cool to have crossovers and jazz, but
yeah,
at what point can you really call it enough?
Oh,
I mean, when you try to force everything in the TV shows, but yeah.
And I'm willing to, and to the show's credit, to compare it to another Marvel show that I do want to praise, Agatha All Along, a show that I did not think I would like as much as I fucking did.
I have not seen that.
But
I forgot that thing existed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
I will say it starts out shaky. It had like the first episode is fun, but then episodes 2 and 3 are kind of drag. Once they're on the Witch's Road, it just gets better and better. I love that show. So like if shaky start and that weird CG moments are like the worst parts of Daredevil, and it turns out to ultimately a great show, I hope that's what it's like.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I think they just need to have more. Disney just needs to let go of a lot of creative control on certain things to actually have directors, writers actually give you something good, something that's not just the same.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I do want to say I'm glad to hear that. Like, aside from that moment, it is like other than that decent though. You said right?
Yeah, I feel like it's going because they did mention like the previous, like, let's just say the Netflix series. They did mention a couple of names of that, and I will say to an extent that if you guys watch all the Spider-Man films with Tom Holland in it, well, he's in the timeline, but I'm confused on how this works because I thought that everyone forgot who he was, so I'm kind of confused. Like, how does that work out? Why was his name dropped if everyone forgot? So I don't understand.
It's one of those things that they haven't really thought about.
But other than that, I'm excited because I know that I heard that the Punisher, Frank Castle, will be in the series. I don't know if that's true or not.
Actually, speaking of
rumors of that,
they're probably at least season 2, but they're also doing like a short limited series for the Punisher, like John Berthel actually.
Yeah, John
yesterday.
Berthel. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Castle as a character and the way that they did him. They did him so well.
Was great.
Hell yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was a stupid joke because he said Castle.
Hell yeah.
No.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I have. It's just like, hey, that has dropped last week. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. Amongst my friend group, I have not heard anyone mention Born Again. There you go.
I'm just gonna call it Newborn for now on.
Newborn goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see if I can.
I'm just gonna wait till it's all out, though. I think it's only like 8 episodes.
Same. I think that's what I'm waiting for that Spider-Man, and that's already out now. I want to binge all of it. I've heard mixed things, but I know the Spider-Man. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's woke DEI." It's like, yeah, but is the story at least good? Like, I don't care about most of the shit y'all are complaining about.
The animation just doesn't impress me.
Yeah,
It's slow and clunky.
Speaking of Marvel, how about the Thunderbolts trailer? I'm excited for Thunderbolts.
Ooh. I'm really excited for Thunderbolts. I have no idea why.
When I did this with Butch and DJ, like I think DJ hit the nail on the fucking head. It's because it does reminisce of classic, like the original Marvel movies, where there was no worry about a connected plot. It was just a team of has-beens trying to stop a threat. That's it.
True.
Yeah, like first Avengers, because at least like your only backstory was, oh well, they'll meet at some point. There wasn't an overarching plot.
Right.
I mean, Marvel put out, if you saw a couple days ago, it's like they tried to do like an indie-ish trailer because they have a lot of people that have done like A24 production stuff on that film.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy, the cinematographer of the film is the guy who did Mirai and all that. Ooh. I think he's worked with Cary Fukunaga, who is the director that did like a lot. He works with Donald Glover a lot with like Atlanta and his music videos.
Oh,
and he had that.
Gotcha.
And he had that HBO show. It's a very limited series, but I can't remember what it is. It came out a few years ago.
I have no idea. I'm trying to think about it.
Well.
There's two things that I finished watching recently and I could probably my thoughts on. Do you have anything you saw recently, Alex?
Nothing new, but I did actually sit down and watch again The Nice Guys.
Nice Guys?
Because it's on Netflix. You ever see that movie?
He looks at
with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I know.
In the 70s.
I have not seen it, but
Oh, you'll love it, dude. You'll love it. It's so good. Okay. I forgot how good it was. I'm so surprised there's not a sequel because it sets it up to where they can do sequels.
Is it like
it's so good?
It gives me like Turner and Hooch vibes.
So I just won't spoil, but just main character like Russell Crowe plays like a not a hitman, but like a hand for hire. Like he'll beat up people for you if you pay him. The type. Ryan Gosling plays more of like a subdued PI.
Oh shit, Keith David's in it. Yeah, I'm watching this later.
I'll spoil this on this. He's not really utilized at all.
Oh,
he kind of just
I can tell by the credit.
Shows up.
I can tell by the credit. It just says older guy. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw the credit. I was watching the credits like Keith David, old guy. Huh. All right.
There was two things I saw recently. The first one I saw in theaters. I'm not gonna go into heavy spoilers about it because I'm gonna say there's to go to a point we talked about earlier about the marketing, like Mickey 17. Very good. Very good.
I want to see it.
There is some things and tones and certain like things in the movie that are not in the marketing at all. I have some heavy thoughts in that movie that I think in maybe like either the next episode or the one after more people have had time to see it, has had time to settle, I may talk about it again. I have very particular thoughts about the movie that make me happy. But there is a lot going on in this movie, and Robert Pattinson fucking killed it.
I have no doubt he will.
Because he's basically playing two iterations of the same character. Because I will tell you what is already given away in the trailer. This is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. Basically, Mickey is what's known as an expendable on this space colony. So whenever they need him to do something, like, oh, go out and explore this planet, or go out into space and fix this thing, or like, oh, test this new nerve gas or whatever. Like he's the first one to do it because if he dies, it doesn't matter. They'll reprint his body. And at one point, he falls down this icy cliff. He's left for dead. They think, oh, I guess he's gonna die. there's a really funny but kind of fucked up scene where a guy is just like grabs the flamethrower, they're like, hey, this still works, can't lose that, and just kind of leaves Mickey there. And but through means I won't spoil, he eventually makes his way back to the ship. But by the time he makes it back, they find out they basically already printed another Mickey, so there's two of him. It's then clarified that every time he goes through this process, there's like a slight difference in his DNA because it's basically like they're copy pasting his memories, so he keeps internalizing them slightly differently each time. So there's like slight differences in his personality.
Dang.
So like Mickey, like they only ever, it's a passing mention for the rest, but we do see it in real time for these two. That like some Mickeys are just like very timid and quiet. Some are like very violent. You have Mickey 17, who's just more mild mannered, genuinely good guy, and Mickey 18, who's kind of a cunt. But but no, like Pattinson's playing both of these characters believably. Like these are both clearly the same person, internalizing these things around him in these two different ways. It's like he's playing the angel and the devil on his own shoulder.
And you know, it's a really good angle from a clone perspective that I haven't seen, where even though they're clones, there's still enough genetic discrepancy where you can get vastly different variations.
Yes. Now, everything beyond that movie, like some of the major themes and how other characters come into play, I dare not spoil, because there is a lot more going on with this movie that makes it go from just a good movie to just a great movie. I laughed so much at this. It is a funny movie. There's plenty of action. There is some good drama. You even get to see a titty or two. But
Ooh. You have my attention.
Yes.
You
I
have more than one head attention.
So I won't spoil, but for you watching this, your homework, go see Mickey 17. It is worth
My
it.
homework? No, fuck you.
All right, fine. You don't have to do it. It's not homework. It is it's a Kino recommendation. How about that?
All right. Well, I actually do have one film that I remember. I don't know if you're ready for me to hit this off to transition from Mickey.
Go for it, man.
All right. So I recently watched when it came out on freaking Valentine's Day. Love Hurts. Dear God, this film was amazing. Oh my God. If you thought John Wick could John Wick, this out John Wick the John Wick series, I swear to God.
What?
Oh, that's the Kikon whatever film.
Yeah. Kikon, yeah.
How do you say his name?
Hui Kwan.
Yeah, Hui Kwan. He actually is a great actor, and I don't know if there was a stunt double at any point, but they hid that stunt double very well because it felt seamless on a lot of his actions. I was like, holy, it was clean. I actually liked the story. The story wasn't too much. It was literally just, point A to point B to point C. Like everything had a reason, and there wasn't really a slow drought in the film. And the series in itself was just like what you want in a John Wick film, and then some. Somehow, I didn't even think it would be this much entertainment, to be honest. There's a lot of fight scenes. It was a lot of what's called some of the funnier tropes, I guess you could say. I didn't expect. Like hell, they used the number 2 pencil in the film to kill somebody. If that ain't John Wick enough, I don't know what else to say. And then I know it could be a spoiler, but I don't know if you guys are gonna even watch it in theaters. I'd feel comfortable if you guys watched it at home.
It's not in theaters right now, so that's be my only choice would be to watch it like on Netflix or something or whatever streaming.
I'll stream it one night.
Hell yeah!
I'm sure the digital's already out.
Hell yeah!
I have means.
Yeah, so I will say that is a really good film. They actually went above and beyond where I thought they were like, okay, we're gonna keep it to the number 2 pencil. Nah, motherfuckers, they used a fucking boba straw to kill somebody, bro. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Does he suck out the eyeball like a boba?
No, he like stabs it in their artery and just shoves it in there. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
No
he's not
way.
chugging the blood.
No, the blood spews out of the straw, bro.
Oh, that's not a boba ball thing. That's an artery.
That's an artery.
That's not
bro.
boba. That's your cholesterol.
I was like, damn.
Oh.
The fact that they did that in such a way where it made sense was just like, it was a fun film. And I don't know what else to really say other than it was just really action oriented. The story, I want to say it's pretty decent. It's not like the best thing out there, but the way that they had everything, consist where it made the most sense, it actually worked for what they're trying to do, which I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest, when I first walked in and be like, all right, what are we watching? Oh, we're watching this? All right. I had no expectation. I want to say it's probably my second favorite film to Bullet Train, to be honest. Like, that's how entertaining it was for me.
Hell yeah! If it's that same kind of entertainment as Bullet Train, like, I already wanted to watch it because I want to know how this guy does action because I just see him as just the nerdy dude from Loki season 2. But
Did you watch the Goonies?
God, that is the third time.
Or Temple of Doom.
That is the third time someone has mentioned that he was that. He was in those. He was in the fucking Goonies, and I keep forgetting.
So, fun fact: my name kind of comes off of that.
Really?
So, I bought a PS4 in 2016, and my first name that I signed up with was Dr. Ping Pong Jones. You ever heard of Comedy Bang Bang?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a character off of that, and it was like, yeah, whatever. And I don't remember what. I was probably doing something with the boys. We were playing a game, and somebody just called me Dr. Jones. Funny. And ironically, like a week later, I actually had watched Temple of Doom, and the way he says Dr. Jones is Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones. So then so that's how I came up.
Hell yeah. It's so weird. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna forget it again. Like, you are not the first person to remind me he was that kid in those movies. But I'm gonna forget it again, and I don't know why. But
ironically, I've never seen the Goonies.
Oh, God. Oh,
It's really having that, man.
It's good. You might. Well, it's a good kids movie. I might watch it again when I'm older just to see how.
I mean, Thanos is in it, so sure.
Yeah. Now the last thing I do want to talk before we get to our main topic, and it just kind of lead into it. Now that I've watched everything for Dragon Ball Daima.
Oh shit! Here we go.
I know. I'm not gonna go too far on my little soapbox.
I'm going far. I'm getting limbered up.
So here's the thing. The show, at my ultimate thoughts, if you put everything out together, I think the show is good. It's not the best thing Dragon Ball. It has some very good moments. It has quality
animation.
There's even some bits of writing and character exchanges that I think that are pretty on point. I told you before, these two characters, like good Goku and Gloria, their interactions and their dynamic through the show, I really liked it. I liked Glorio's journey. However, there is a lot of things to criticize that. Before we go into things to criticize of the show, there's a whole lot of stuff online, and I've heard some friends about where this falls in canon. Here's the fun thing about that. We know from the creators that it is take place in the Dragon Ball canon after the Buu saga. It does fit a little bit better right after the Buu saga than Super, but it is now implied that it leads into Super. That is leading into some very interesting problems. But the canon with Dragon Ball is so muddy. Like, even without Daima, Super already caused problems.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I don't think it's fair to judge Daima on how it fits in the canon. I will also say that it is, if it really screws things up, that is a point. Like, it's going to be against Dragon Ball as a whole. Like, we mentioned this before, and then you are right about that. But I think it's going to unfortunately fall a little bit more on Daima because it was the show that made these specific mistakes. So you have to judge it on its own merits because it does do things wrong that you need to look at. Like, the thing that bugs me the most is the Chekhov's gun that never fires. That fucking fusion bug.
Yeah, we'll never get it. I don't know how that would work.
There is a way to work. Like I said, like we talked about it briefly, but I think a lot of the problems could have been solved. One of the people I watch, Masako X, he thinks it could have been a movie. It's like, no. I don't think that short. If it was a movie, it would just fall by the wayside. I think it should have been longer. At least 4 more
episodes. Longer.
Like, yeah, minimum 4 more episodes. Minimum. To like really get some ideas across. Give me some time for Nahare and the other Glins to like explore their like whole society dynamic. Give me an episode or 2 of Piccolo and Neva, actually, like Piccolo learning about his culture and exploring the Namekian side of things. There are so many aspects of the demon world we didn't really get, and
or the Supreme Kais or the Glins.
Yeah,
like they're fucking onion people.
They're grown in batches, literally. I guess.
Literally onion people.
That's funny.
Yeah. They give an example for all the Supreme Kais of where they come from, I guess. But now you have to factor in different universes. So is there a different demon realm in every universe? But also the demon realm came before every. It's very confusing.
It's very. Like it's in some ways, like, it's almost implied that there's like one demon world below all the universes, but like it's like, well, that doesn't. Again, that just kind of starts to make things even more confusing.
Yeah, I mean, super fucked it up by introducing multiple fucking universes.
Yeah. Like, all they had to do is simplify it by saying each universe has its own version of heaven/hell. And like the grand creators, there's not really good
heaven or hell.
Yeah, and then like these creators, these like air quote angels, they're not really good or evil. They are basically just the caretakers of the universes. There, I made it easier. I made it make more sense. But nah, super
right. I mean, I still enjoy Daima, but I think it like I said, it's one of those things where you gotta have to don't think about it. Don't think about it at all.
Like if you were to watch it as its own thing. Like, only think about like and think, hey, I enjoy Dragon Ball. I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. Latch onto that. Don't think about Super. Don't think too heavy about the canon.
Super has moments. Don't get me wrong.
Right, but like when watching Daima specifically, don't think about Super. Just watch Daima. It's 20 episodes, and honestly, it's fun. I choose to think of Daima as like this Toriyama epilogue to like Dragon Ball and Z. It's why I really hope that like they change things up a little bit and actually make this its own separate canon instead of like, because it is kind of. But again, that goes into that discussion again.
Well, I mean, if you say that, I just thought about this. You could say like the Xenoverse stuff.
Yeah,
that's true.
Jazz, yeah. But I don't even know how people view Xenoverse. I mean, it's a video game for sure, but yeah, because then you also have like Dragon Ball Online. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm also curious because like Sparking Zero came out, and there's a mode in Sparking Zero called Girl Sock, where basically when you're just kind of going through all the characters you've unlocked, it shows Videl, Chi-Chi, and Bulma just on a couch talking about them.
Oh, yeah, talking. I think that's just more tongue-in-cheek. Like, that's not really anything.
Right, it's more tongue-in-cheek, but when they talk about Daima Goku, they're like surprised by him. That's why it means like, that's what, when I first thought, are you sure this is canon? Because the dialogue in that licensed game is like, when did Goku turn into a kid again? And if this turns into canon, they're gonna have to redub those fucking voice lines unless they were like intentionally hiding them for the fucking DLC.
Well, I would say at this point, for one, Daima was still new and they didn't know probably, but yeah, Sparking Zero isn't really popping anymore.
I know.
So even if Daima turns out to be 100% canon, they won't go back and do that.
Yeah, it sucks that Sparking Zero is popping. It's a fun game, but yeah,
I haven't played it myself.
No, it is very good. I wish it was longer. I stand.
You know what?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I was to say one thing I actually really enjoyed about Daima, though. It's not even the action scenes. I can't remember the animator's name, but it was all the character acting. I think it was like episode 1 or 2 with Desugu or Desega, whatever his name is, and who's the little gremlin? Why am I forgetting that name?
Oh,
the main bad guy, Goma.
Yeah, Goma.
Yeah, and like you could look at the character animation, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
because like and don't get me wrong, it's not like the actions. Oh man, the latter portions of some of these action scenes are great. Like there's a really good action scene where all the characters go fight Goma. Oh, also, did we say spoilers, or are we going to spoil this?
Okay, because this has been ongoing for
what's
months.
The rule do you want to do?
Like, mostly I try to avoid spoilers as much as I can. However, Dragon Ball Daima is now in an interesting spot where technically the final episode aired a week and a half ago, and this has been an ongoing thing for months. So there's, I think, and honestly, the first transformation happened like at this point. It did really happen like 2-3 weeks ago anyway. So as long as we don't spoil the final episode, I think we're in fine territory because okay.
Well, anyway, like I mean, it's nothing. I guess you wouldn't consider a spoil if you just understand how Dragon Ball is. Like, they're all fighting Goma, main antagonist. But there's like a really cool animation sequence where they go up to this platform and they're all flying around, and Goma throws like all these pillars and rocks at each other, and like each little subsect of characters in the group get like these really cool animation shots, and it's all, by the way, like in 3D background. If you remember, there's a shot where he goes up on top of the pillar, crosses his arms, and that whole thing, and then the camera pulls back, and you see all the characters land, and then it kind of swoops around to do more of a dynamic shot pose.
Oh yeah,
that shot. This is also how I got the information. It's by the anime AJ, like I said earlier. That shot was actually by the woman who directed. She directed a few episodes of One Piece. She directed the Egghead opening, the really good one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think it's episode 10-15. I don't know. It's the one where Luffy punches Kaido with Red Rock for the first time. Yeah. And that's honestly one of the best episodes of an anime I've ever fucking seen in like my 30-something years of life.
God,
but she directed that whole main battle sequence up until that spin.
Hell yeah.
And like there's the Vegeta part, like the second to last episode, the part
where
that was the guy who did the character like sketches for Broly, like how they looked in Broly, and then he did like the first fight sequence with him and Goku and Broly. He animated that whole part of Vegeta and Goma.
Hell yeah.
Like they brought in like a lot of new talent. They brought in like some guy from South America who did a lot of good stuff. But I think it was the episode before Goku does the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember the first half of the episode, the animation was very stiff, and he was fighting Ku? No. Majin Ku? Do. Yeah. Yeah, and you notice how the animation was very rigid.
Yes.
Yeah, because they brought in like actually brought in like an old school Dragon Ball Z animator for that.
Like I get what you mean, because you could tell during the fight, like, okay, they're supposed to fight, but this isn't going to be the final fight. This is like the precursor to whatever the final is.
Oh yeah,
like you could even tell with the animation. But no, like the way I internalize Daima, and the more I think about it, the more I stand by this. Like to some degree, you have to compare it to Super because recency bias and shit.
Oh
But,
yeah.
if I were to compare it to Super, I think Super has moments, and especially in movies, that far surpass Daima. Moments that do.
Oh yeah, moments, sure.
However,
but like as a whole, no.
On the whole, because it is a shorter, tighter story and things are more satisfying, I think just taken as like its own little piece, I currently like Daima more than Super. But there are moments in Super that I like more than the moments that are in Daima.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it is a little unfair to compare them because of the length. But I agree.
It's also unfair because of the movies. Like if we're going slowly up with the movies, like Broly, Battle of the Gods. Oh fuck, dude.
Well,
Yep.
yeah. And honestly, Broly to me, if you notice that when Broly came out, it has like the look of what Toei does for a lot of their anime now, like especially One Piece and whatnot. It has like that, has a little bit of that bloom and bolder outlines on the characters. Broly was the first one to really introduce that because you could really see it in Daima. But it's interesting in Daima too because there's an animator that if you'll notice every now and then some characters and scenes will have like an outline that's like thick in one place and very thin on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I know.
No, I know what you're talking
It's
about.
really
I
good.
definitely see it in I definitely see it in One Piece. Like I have my own thoughts about modern One Piece animation. It's mostly good but a mixed bag for me. Um, I love the fight with Luffy and Lucci, the new one.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Oh, like it's but no. I guess Daima's worth watching. It's just a lot of good. There's a lot of bad. Don't think about it too much. You're gonna ruin it for yourself.
You know, and that's the problem. People are thinking about it too much.
Yeah. It's monkeys going screamy and punching other things. That's what it is.
And that's what Dragon Ball Z has honestly always been. And people want to act like it's so much more.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Dragon Ball is its own thing, and I think Dragon Ball is always going to be superior because it's lighthearted. It's got the comedy, adventure aspect.
Sure. Like Dragon Ball is an adventure comedy for a family audience, and Dragon Ball Z is for the boys. That's just how it is.
Nah, man, Dragon Ball Z is for everybody.
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball.
Nah, man, Dragon Ball Z is always for everybody.
Yeah.
Yup.
The last thing I'll say, and it's not a spoiler, but like I like the last thing that happened. The last the thing when he turns into in the last episode because he got them big monkey arms.
You know, I actually like that design effect.
Yes.
It's also I really like. I mean, people probably know what we're alluding to. I just won't say it.
Yeah.
But I really like that. It's very like he was introduced in Toriyama's kind of more current or later art style, where he makes like kind of everybody a chibi-ish or smaller version.
Yeah.
I really do like that he was introduced like that.
Yes. I guess with that, I think it's a good time to move on to our main subject of the night. Cartoon, baby.
The cartoon.
So,
Cartoon.
as Griffin selected in the last podcast ever so graciously, this time I want to take some time to talk about Cartoon Network, specifically, I would say the early years of Cartoon Network before 2007, about when when undergone that first
basically the inception till Ben 10.
The inception until like Ben 10 basically kind of slowed down. It was about where because that's when the network shift. I like Ben 10.
No, Ben 10 came out like in 2006.
Yeah,
it was more like when we'll get there. We'll get there.
But yeah, obviously the shows that I want to talk about are the shows that if you were in the 90s you grew up with, like the Powerpuff Girls, the Ed and Eddie's, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, like Tex Avery, all that good stuff. Scooby Doo. Because everyone I know growing up in the 90s falls into like one of three categories I've noticed. Either they didn't have a TV, they just couldn't watch anything outside of public access, or they didn't have cable, I should say, didn't watch anything on public aside from public access. They like almost exclusively watched Nickelodeon, or they almost exclusively watched Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I watched more Cartoon Network, but I also watched a lot more Nickelodeon. But that was when we could do a whole Nickelodeon thing as well, because Nickelodeon was really great back in the day.
Oh yeah, it absolutely was. Like, if I do an episode on Nickelodeon, I've already decided I'm going to split that up into twos. I'm going to split it up a lot. I'm going to do like an episode on just Nickelodeon game shows and an episode of Nickelodeon animations, because Nickelodeon is a whole other beast. But,
I mean, like between the live action and just all the really cool cartoons. But yeah. Anyway,
like Cartoon Network was it was always unique because it really was, I guess, one of the more honest of the networks because for the most part of its history, it was cartoons 24/7. It was the Cartoon Network. Its name is exactly what it showed. And
and being owned by Turner Warnell, they had such a huge library already.
Mm-hmm. And the library kept growing and growing. And remember, there was a few years where a lot of their new shows were basically pulled from the fans. They basically had like, hey, these are a bunch of pilots. What shows do y'all like, kids? That one.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about Cartoon Fridays.
Oh, but I guess in the inception, it really was like Looney Tunes, all the Tex Avery stuff, Scooby Doo. What is now associated with Boomerang is what Cartoon Network started as. Like
the old Hanna-Barbera stuff, essentially.
Old Hanna-Barbera, like Space Ghost. But I know for a fact, if it wasn't for Cartoon Network, I don't think I'd be as into like stuff like Scooby Doo as I am today.
I think a lot of my humor wouldn't be the way it is without Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
I would have to agree with that for sure, because Ed and Eddie,
and
I think out of all the
Kids Next Door,
for sure. I think out of all the three networks, like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and I guess Disney, Cartoon Network always had the more entertaining cartoons, in my opinion. The more absurd cartoon. Nickelodeon had a few. Don't get me wrong, like Cat Dog. Like what? How did they poop?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but but then I could say, well, they had Cow and Chicken, because I always remember the first episode I ever saw a Cow and Chicken was when Chicken had to go inside Cow, and you basically saw like this gross, disgusting innards.
Dude, Cow and Chicken was a fever dream of a show, dude.
That show only exists in that little window in the 90s. You couldn't do it today. I'm not saying like the gore or anything. It's just the absurdity of it.
Zim was Nickelodeon. We'll talk about Nickelodeon another day, Nate Dogg. This is for Cartoon Network. Wait, was Zim? Yeah, Zim was Nickelodeon.
Zim was Nickelodeon.
Zim was Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Which I'm always surprised they did, because there's a lot of stuff in that show that is nothing what Nickelodeon wanted.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Cartoon Network in a way took more chances than no. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, for a while they took more chances with their animation
back in the day. Yeah.
Because it wasn't just it wasn't just one show that was like, oh, this is like Cow and Chicken was obviously the most, outside of like some like Ren and Stimpy, which also aired on Cartoon Network for a brief spell, but
it did. We'll get to there.
I think Cartoon Network just decide like they let creators have that little bit of extra freedom and just let a group of nobodies do what they want just to fill out the roster. And man, it worked wonders. They they just threw money at everything. Like, here's a show. Here they greenlit everything, and there is a solid like 2 decades where Cartoon Network was on top of the fucking world, dude. I love that decade of Cartoon Network.
Because I think they literally did what their name implied. They invested in cartoony shows that were different stuff that would actually be appealing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they had a whole block every Friday for many years where that's all it was.
Cartoon Fridays.
We'll get there.
I want to. So it's Cartoon Fridays. I want to talk about more. Like, I'm going to bring up other things when we get to that. But there's a video I want to. I'm going to link in the description when this goes to YouTube when we get to but there's one that talks about Cartoon Fridays in a way that I never could match because they so quickly put it. But early shows in Cartoon Network, though, to just bring it back just to go through time. There was their first shows. You had stuff like Dexter's Lab. Wasn't that one of the first shows?
Well, I was going to say, how early did you watch Cartoon Network?
So, I know I watched it as early as I could remember, but when I first watched it, my vaguest memories recall that this was a time where we did have shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls.
Okay. So you're around the later 90s then.
Yeah.
Because I remember Cartoon Network back in the early 90s when it really was just purely Hanna-Barbera. Like, their afternoon blocks were basically 3 to 4 hours of Tom and Jerry.
See, like, I know it was there and I know I watched it. I just don't recall most of like the details there. Like, I know I watched a lot of Looney Tunes. I know Johnny Bravo. Like, I know I watched I loved the Tex Avery hours. I love those. I watched a lot of Scooby Doo. I know I watched those segments, but I don't remember specific details of like all the different blocks and stuff until they started doing the like original cartoons and original programming.
Well, and it's weird because they still kind of follow the same suit of, I mean, besides the brief period of when they had preschool type shows, like how Nickelodeon had Nick Jr.
Oh,
which is always weird.
Oh yeah,
I know what shows you're talking about. Like,
they always kind of followed a similar type of programming block. Like, I remember the early mornings, you'd get some kid cartoons, some of the modern stuff. The afternoons would be filled with like Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry and Jazz. And then around 5 o'clock, 6, at least standard or central, whatever you want to call it. That's when they would show like their newer stuff, or at least the stuff that was newish back then.
Oh, dude, when I was in like early,
well, that was before Toonami, I should say. Toonami. We'll talk about Toonami.
So, okay, actually, full disclosure, I want to briefly mention Toonami, but I don't want to go into detail because I want Toonami to be its own segment worth talking about.
You better have me on, motherfucker, because I will go off Toonami for days.
Yeah,
I love Toonami.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Cartoon Network, what just meant to us, some of our favorite shows, and talk a little bit about Cartoon Fridays, because there's so much. We mentioned it shaped our humor. Like, over time, there's just more and more shows I latched onto. Like, yeah, I liked like I don't know if it was like Scooby Doo. I liked Dexter's Laboratory. I did really like Powerpuff Girls.
I love Powerpuff Girls, man.
Oh, it is. It is so fucking raunchy and campy in the best way possible. And God, is it funny? It's still funny.
Let's see. I remember way back in the day when I was in elementary to middle, I'd always get home because I had my mother was single at the time, and so I had after school care, so I wouldn't necessarily get home till like 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I always remember turning on the TV at that time and watching Scooby Doo. Where Are You? Like, I've seen every episode of Scooby Doo. Where Are You? Probably like at least 5 times.
See, I love Scooby Doo, but like I almost got away from it, and I kind of blame anime for this because
that's before all that.
Well, to dip my toes a little bit into like the Adult Swim stuff, there was when Adult Swim started going heavy and showing anime, I started watching Detective Conan, an anime that I still try to watch from time to time. I think it's a very good kid show. But unlike Scooby Doo, you could figure out the murders and stuff in the episode with the the main character. All the clues were there. But then I watch Scooby Doo, and they seem to be just pulling shit out of their ass, and I'm like, oh damn it.
Oh yeah.
but then shows like that are more fun, like Pup Named Scooby Doo show, and they're having a laugh, and more actual like serious writing, like Mystery Incorporated, and then New Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo mentioned.
Yeah, like and that run me over again. To back up a little bit, the shows that really I really latched onto with Cartoon Network, and these are easily my 3 favorite shows. The first one was Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Nah, dude, I agree with you. It's one of my favorite cartoons ever.
It's so weird, but I really latched onto it because part of it was personal. Because growing up in Florida, I lived in a very small like neighborhood. It wasn't a cul-de-sac, but it was just a smaller neighborhood, and there was like me and a bunch of neighborhood kids. And when I got to see like there's a TV show about a bunch of neighborhood kids just having fun and bullying each other, but also just kind of just living their lives, going to school. Man, that sounds awesome. To some degree, I related to them, but then I got to see like this funky art style and this weird humor, and just I loved it.
I've always loved like the alternating lines on them.
Yeah,
you don't ever see that anymore or anywhere. I don't remember any cartoon that really did that.
The other 2 shows that like they came on, they aired a little after. No, I think one was before. I know one was around the same time as that. One was definitely after. Courage the Cowardly Dog is one that just...
Courage is great, man.
Yeah, I just love it more and more. Like, the more time passes, the more I appreciate the fuck out of that show.
It is fucking red wine, my guy. It just
like,
ages so
Courage
well.
Courage is a show, like, it's not even a time thing you can make of. Nobody has a genius to make it.
Yeah.
Or just like the vision to make it, I should say. Not the genius.
The other show that I am pretty sure it did also a lot of heavy lifting with Ed and Eddie to shape my humor is Billy and Mandy.
Oh, Billy and Mandy.
Dude, I adore that show. I like in preparation for this, I actually looked up a bunch of old episodes and clips of just Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Oh my god. Billy, by all accounts, should be an annoying as fuck character, but he just can't not make me laugh. I love like laughing at Billy in that fucking show.
Twitter's been giving me a lot of you know that show Jellystone?
Yes.
Yeah. It's been giving me a lot of those random off clips. And one of the clips it gave me today was like when it was actually from a Billy and Mandy episode where he meets a yogi, and I can't remember the other bear's name. But they start chasing him over some food. He's hiding. He's like, "Come out now, human. I can smell you." And he just goes, "Hey, I showered 15 days ago."
Damn.
I don't know why. That show is really great. Because I really, looking back on it, that show had so many different parodies that I just glossed over myself as a kid.
I really need to watch
adolescent.
That episode, Crisis on Infinite Mirths. Jesus.
I still remember the Termin episode where Mandy goes Super Saiyan.
Yes. Dude, yes.
Or when Billy becomes a parent.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, he sat on an egg that was a spider egg and became a parent, and Billy was so annoyed that he became a parent for the spider that they went to court, and the spider is now intelligent to saying, "I loved you, Dad. Why can't you accept me, Dad?
I'll be anything you want. I want you to be dead."
Storyline now.
You cannot do that. Yeah, it is cancerous, and I love it just because how off that was. It was so weird.
As soon as they introduced the courtroom in Billy and Mandy, everything in the courtroom is gold. I'll be anything you want, Dad. What do you want me to be? I want you to be dead. Just hit him with a fucking newspaper.
Oh God.
It's awful. I love it.
Y'all remember Megas XLR? The most criminally underrated
Mike talks
shows.
about that shit a lot. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching the first episode when it dropped live, and I was just like, what did I just watch? I want to watch it again.
I was always fascinated with voice actors at that time period. and that's when I started to watch a lot of anime. So it blew my mind to have Steve Bloom and Wendy Lee do Jamie, and I can't remember the other lady's name. And there, I'm like, what the fuck? That's Spike.
God, that first episode where he bought it for $2. He bought the fucking book for $2. Who thinks of that? Who writes that stuff? Oh.
To be fair, that was kind of like the mentality in a lot of that time period. Yeah, this is shit. I'll give it to you like $10 in a Subway sandwich.
Y'all, what are some of y'all's favorite shows from like the old days of Cartoon Network?
I like pretty much anything off of Cartoon Fridays.
So, what would those be exactly? Your top 3?
Like, I don't really have a top. It's like Courage, Powerpuff, Johnny Bravo, Dexter, I Am Weasel, Kids Next. The early days of Kid Next Door. Baboon. I'm Weasel.
I guess
Two Stupid Dogs.
Yeah.
I remember exactly one thing from Two Stupid Dogs, and I'm pretty sure it's the meme everyone remembers. Ain't that cute? But it's wrong!
I watched a lot of, what they had, the New Adventures of Johnny Quest.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Also underrated. I love the intro of that show. I know it's weird.
You need a fucking deep cut.
Yep. There was a testing ground for, they had like afternoon blocks. They also had like some unique shit, like Code Lyoko and basically Big Forehead the show.
I'm gonna say I never liked Code Lyoko.
I tried to like it. I think I liked it.
I enjoyed it for what it was trying to do.
I liked the CG segments for sure, but I didn't.
I didn't. I actually enjoyed more of the school life in Jazz. Even the foreheads were ridiculous. I prefer that over the CG.
A fucking egg for heads, bro. Oh, God.
Just 90% forehead.
So for sure, for my like top 3 that I will always remember, and like if I were to go back there and just sit down with my previous self, it would probably be what's it called, Samurai Jack, because it was just such an awkward and unique show. It didn't rely on much voice acting. It was always about sound design, and I was like, whoa.
You will never see another cartoon do that. Really, that's aimed at kids.
Yeah, that's aimed
and
at
also,
kids.
I think it was the first, at least cartoon I remember that they specifically. I remember they hyped it as they didn't use outlines. Or at least they didn't use like the black outlines you would see in a lot of characters, which honestly lends to that art style so much more as it's aged.
It's a shame we won't get more shows like that, because I love Samurai Jack. Like, I will always have a deep respect for it. But I remember it's not like my favorite Cartoon Network shows, but it's like easily number 4 for me. I just have my stupid brain puts the others, but I will always have this deep reverence for it, because every time I watched it as a kid, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but like I always felt like just not a little bit smarter and a little more just like centered watching that show.
Well, yeah, like Angel said, there's a lot of episodes where there's no dialogue.
And there's just nothing. It's just ambiance.
You just didn't see that in a cartoon back then.
Yeah.
Because like there was the weird mentality, especially in the early 2000s, where, kids always had to be entertained by. I mean, I guess you could apply that now, but that was kind of the emerging theme back then. You always had to keep them entertained.
Yeah.
Instead of letting stuff breathe.
Just jingle the keys, jingle the keys, jingle the keys. And
I mean, like, you can say that now about social media and Jazz, but this is like before all that, when people thought like, it's ruining cartoons, treating like adults. I don't know.
No, that makes it better. Like, dude, my favorite parts of Cartoon Network, I love the Cartoon City they had, and all those little like
listen, we can talk about I will talk about bumpers all day with Cartoon Network, because they were the only real channel I've ever seen in my life, Toonami included, and Adult Swim, where like bumpers made so much of what I felt attached to about Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
like Cartoon Fridays had those really cool. I mean, like especially when the block started, you had the theme song, you had that really cool intro for very long.
Yeah,
because they did change it after a while, and it was like, not the best.
Like seeing all these old and new cartoon characters just occupying this world in a way. I know this sounds dumb, but like in a way, it then felt like the commercials you were watching and everything in between the shows were then part of the same shows.
Yeah.
So then you weren't just watching an episode here in ads; you were watching an actual network of interconnected just things, and it felt awesome. Like
especially when they like it was the same idea that like I think Kids WB did for a while, where they were all like on the WB lot and they're all just people with shows.
Y'all remember
that was cool?
Yeah, and they even beyond that. Y'all remember the Groovies? I loved the Groovies.
The Groovies, oh wow,
the Groovies. Oh, were they those animated music videos they did?
Yeah, there was like one.
Oh yeah, because I always remember the Jabberjaw one.
Oh, the Jabberjaw one's like the best, dude.
Yeah.
I still look that one up because I hear it once and it's like a fucking brainworm, dude. Like there's a video by a group called Rebel Taxi that they did a video exclusively about Cartoon
I know Fridays. Rebel Taxi. I follow them.
Yeah, they did a video on Cartoon Fridays, and they put this in a way I wish I could have thought of. And when we look back at Cartoon Networks, I will link when this is on YouTube. The link to that video is going to be in the description. It's very worth watching. But their ultimate point at the end of the video, to really contextualize how you feel about Cartoon Network, is to also think about the Looney Tunes. None of us were around when those shows were first like shown in theaters. We weren't there in the nickel cinema watching Merry Melodies. However, we still enjoy them nowadays all the same. Everything we watched as a kid will be enjoyed for generations to come. Just the way in which we enjoyed them will forever be special to us, and that's awesome.
I mean, you say that as well because the Looney Tunes show, like a modern Looney Tunes, is actually like one of the highest rated things as well.
Yeah, like
and it's so interesting.
Yeah, that's a new way for this generation to enjoy Looney Tunes.
I mean, look at this. Like, you have the Porky Pig, Daffy Duck movie coming out soon.
Oh yeah,
the 2D one.
I kind of want to see that, honestly.
I really want to see that. But you also had the Wile E. Coyote movie, the Acne movie, which I'm still pissed.
Release that.
We'll never see.
Release it, please. I know.
Nah, it's gone. They burned it.
Cowards.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, there's a lot of like Tom and Jerry. Like Tom and Jerry, I know it's probably not really a big thing right now, but it's still relevant. I saw something on Twitter actually today. It was like a 15-second animation that some company did with them.
What the heck?
Yeah. Huh. Those old cartoons are still there, but I just think people don't want to do anything because they don't know what to do. Because at the same time, Disney has that weird problem, but then those handful of years ago, they had those Mickey Mouse shorts, which is like the most absurdest thing I think Disney Animation's ever done.
They're some of the funniest fucking shorts I've seen Disney do in years. They should do more of those.
Oh, Minnie! What happened?
Have you seen the one where like Mickey comes over? Oh, Mickey, you're early. Oh, I'm just obsessed with you.
Tangent. Somewhere in like the mid 2010s, Disney Animation was like, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want for a little bit,
and it works. I'd say as a joke, but the 90s were a lawless wasteland of pop culture, and the Cartoon Network got all the benefits of that. Right. Do what?
I was like, you're kind of right though. The 90s, I know everybody rants about whatever decade they're born in or was a kid in, but I feel like the 90s was. There's a lot that like changed. It was good. Yeah. Anyway, nostalgic.
I'm nostalgia for it, but I do firmly believe that like every decade has something it did better than everything
Oh,
else. Like for 80s, it's starting to turn a little bit. For 80s, it was horror. Like that was a special decade for horror. For I think 90s kind of set up the. I think 90s might have been kids media, if I'm being honest.
You know, it might have been, considering how much live action shows like Nickelodeon pumped out all the game shows and jazz.
Yeah, there's a huge variety. We had Cartoon Network, we had Nickelodeon, we had all the fucking live action shows still left over from the late 80s going into the 90s, like Boy Meets World and shit. We had dinosaurs.
I hate Boy Meets World.
Yeah. Well, I know, but like I'm just saying variety. But
I know.
To go out to Cartoon Network, they capitalized on that idea, man. There's so many shows that by their very nature are like so different. And, like the themes are so like against each other, but they exist in the same world and work together so fucking well. Like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. This is a very child friendly show about like imaginary friends finding a home. It's very lighthearted, a few zany adventures. Which, side note, the movie for Foster's,
the guy who did Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, exactly where I was going. Versus Powerpuff Girls. You can watch Foster's Home and just have a lighthearted adventure, or just people kind of maybe have a food fight. This is Powerpuff Girls. I'm going to break this monster's arm in fucking half, and you're going to see the animated blood. Like it was such a weird network, and I loved it.
Man, all right, we can talk about Cartoon Fridays.
Yeah, please.
There's
go
a
off,
lot.
go
Like,
off, man.
Cartoon. I don't want to go off. I'm trying to fight a Rathian right now.
Fair enough. Cartoon Fridays was a genius idea of a block, though. Like this is a block of stuff where we're gonna get some new. This where we air all of our newest episodes of all of our top shows, but some of our favorite shows of the week every week. Like it was a ritual for me to watch Cartoon Fridays.
Oh, I did too, and I love that. Like every Friday, it really was for a very long time a new episode of your favorite cartoon. You know, at least season wise.
And I also will say, because I don't want to talk too much about the stuff that happened later in the network. Cartoon Fridays and like the later stuff is the only way I would accept live action anything in Cartoon Network is the hosts of Cartoon Fridays. Because it just felt like some kids in a big old treehouse hanging out and watching cartoons. That's awesome.
Oh, you want to see in live?
Look, fuck off. I have very.
What?
I don't.
You don't want Andrew. God, what was his name? Andrew WK.
Andrew WK.
Yeah, remember that name?
Man. It's just that fucking meme of just look how they've massacred my boy.
Like, oh, I know.
During college, I got to see what they were doing at Cartoon Network, and I got sad, man. I got sad.
Yeah.
Nah, but you know, and one thing that was so unique too is for at least a couple of years, they were like, yeah, here are a handful, like you said earlier, there were a handful of pilots. You could choose, which is going to be the new cartoon.
Let's talk about that because there was a lot of pilots on Cartoon Network, and I know like there are some that became shows that eventually evolved, like Evil Con Carne slowly evolved into Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Oh my god, Evil Con Carne!
I don't like Evil Con Carne more for a bit there. That. Yeah,
the fucking like brain and gut.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that.
It's where Kids Next Door came from, and Kids Next Door was awesome.
I love Kid Next Door.
But there's also pilots that like I vaguely remember. I also remember some lighter shows. Do y'all remember? This might be a deep cut. I only watched it because when I would get home from school, that's when they would usually play an episode.
Robot Jones.
Not Robot Jones. So that was a good one. Mike, Lou, and Og.
Oh, I did not like that show, but I know what you're talking about. Like the 3 Islander people, or the 2 Islander kids and the white transplant kid.
Yeah. I gave it a shot. I liked it for a time, but it didn't take me long to realize this is just people trying to replicate Ed and Nettie. It's like it just didn't work. It just didn't work. It didn't have the art style to match it outside of a few episodes. Like not everything on Cartoon Network is a winner. Not everything is. It was a great network. There was some that should have gone farther. I think there was some. I think Sheep in the Big City should have lasted longer than it did. Honestly,
I remember being very indifferent as a kid. I couldn't really like put my emotions in how like nowadays I can. Like I was very indifferent.
Yeah,
but I just didn't know how to feel about that show.
I think that's the problem with that show in particular, Sheep in the Big City, is as a kid it's hard to find this scenario interesting or funny, but I'd say maybe when you're like high school or college age and you look back and just see the absurdity of it, like okay, you get a little bit of a chuckle, like you get the humor later in life, but like that's probably why it didn't really latch on. It was too smart for its own good, and but also too zany at points. I don't know.
Especially when he had a general who had to talk like this because he couldn't really move his fucking teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old animation cuts.
Hmm.
What was the original lineup for Cartoon Fridays? If I remember, it was like Johnny Bravo, Courage.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo. Maybe not the original.
Originally, I think it just changed. I think they just had like an hour of like Looney Tunes and then just like some of their new stuff, and it would just rotate out. Like I know for a while, like there was like 6 or 7 that were recurring. There was like Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls.
I think if I remember, the major change was like 97.
Yes, that was the first major change, and that's when they started like really pumping out new shows, and that change did last for a good decade. Like that was a good time to be a Cartoon Network kid. Like that's when I started to remember stuff because I think 95 is when I really started to like really watch Cartoon Network, because I do remember like the Boomerang stuff. I do. Like I watched Flintstones a bit as a kid. But then
I watched like any old Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I've seen not every episode, but I've seen a majority of them.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Megalo Gorilla.
Oh.
Gorilla.
Got a gorilla for sale. Megalo Gorilla for sale.
Yeah, there it is.
You got a gorilla dude, you get me on those groovies, man. I'll sing along. I'm you know what, on the trailers, when I post the trailers, because like I only have 2 to link anyway. I'm gonna link a bunch of the groovies into the trailer playlist. See how
please do. That'd be a nice nostalgic trip.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of compilations out there. There's also that really weird one. Like there was like that rap album themed around Dexter. Remember that shit?
Oh God.
No, it's not coming to mind.
Dude, Will.i.am did a Dexter's Lab song.
What?
I got a secret formula. Got a little bit of high. I don't know why I remember it, but
you're gonna have to put that somewhere, because I do not remember.
If I sing more of that, I'm just gonna sound extra white. But like there was apparently like a whole rap album with like a whole bunch of rappers just seen around Dexter's Laboratory, and like the main one they showed as a groovy was the one by Will.i.am.
Oh, side tangent. It's still related to Cartoon Network, but we're in the DFW area. I don't know if you ever heard. There's a sports radio channel called 105.3 The Fan.
Yes. Yeah, I listen to it.
So whenever they come back for commercial or introduce new segments, they do little music bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
But one of their bumpers was it was a Dexter's Lab bumper, and I was so thrown off. It was like, but she is beautiful.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, how the fuck does that
I kind of want to start going into more like deep cuts about like stuff. Talk about Dexter's Lab. Y'all remember Dial M for Monkey?
Oh yeah, because that was a part of it.
Hell yeah.
Dial
the best episode was with Rasslor.
Well, I mean, it's like how Ira Baboon, I Am Weasel was cow and chicken based.
Oh, like the fucking the what was it? The Justice Friends.
Oh yeah, that was Dexter. Justice Friends.
Yes.
Knockoff Hulk, Thor, and Captain America.
It's Thor but with a guitar.
Yeah, it's just a guitar.
Now Krunk.
What was his full title? Like the Infraggable Kronk or some shit?
Let me look it up. What was it called? Justice League Friends? Or just Justice Friends?
It's just Justice Friends. Yeah, there's Major Gore. Okay, no, there's no full title. It's just Krunk.
Major Glory.
Major Glory.
That was the guy's name.
I'm looking at the names of the people who are in. Oh, I love the totally not Iron Man. The Living Bullet.
The Living Bullet. Bullet.
Like looking back now for the Marvel stuff, you can tell exactly who each of these people are just parodies of, and it's so nuts that they got away with the fucking royalty-free Avengers hiding in a Dexter's Laboratory show.
Royalty-free.
That's one way to put it.
Let's see a list of
that's crazy though. Now looking back at like all the shows that were on Cartoon Network, there was some shows from WB that actually was rerun on what's called Cartoon Network, and it was Mucha Lucha, which was a
fucking
Mexican wrestler.
I remember
that show was wild. Holy,
that show was made in Flash, and holy shit, you could tell.
Yep.
And
also, if you haven't done like a Saturday morning cartoon thing, you should do that as well.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm thinking I might just do I might have to break it up into like channels, but maybe
because
do
he had Fox and WB Kids.
I might do if we do like Kids WB and Jetix as one, I might do a Saturday morning cartoon tier list.
Hey, because we're local boys here. What about UPN 21 at 6 a.m.?
Fucking Cyber Chase? Am I thinking of?
Do you not remember the CG Starship Troopers series?
Oh shit, yeah.
Roughnecks.
Cyber Chase was PBS. Yeah. Oh, Roughnecks. Yeah.
We're getting too far from Cartoon Network though.
No, it's fine.
Got to bring it back.
It's fine. I have to bring it back. Like, I'm gonna take some time to figure out how I want to do that. Oh God, I remember.
Oh, dude. Chowder is a great cartoon.
Okay, Chowder bleeds into like the new network, but I do want to like it leads into like right as Cartoon Network started changing networks, so it's like right on the edge there.
Oh yeah, but Chowder to me it blends such like old school classic cartoon stuff with like at least the modernity at the time.
Yeah,
it is good, and I know it's coming across implication wise as we're shitting on new Cartoon Network, and there's a lot to shit on. But there are Cartoon Network shows that have come up since like 2006 that I have to concede are good. It's ones that I've never thought to give a chance, but I have to like after watching a few episodes, it's like no, there's something here. There's actually a fairly decent okay show here. Chowder is that like I'm gonna count that. I'm gonna say no, that's a great Adventure Time. I mean, I don't have to explain myself there. Like.
I'll say that I think Adventure Time only gets good after season 3.
Yes.
But season 4 and 5 is when I kind of really dug the show because I can't remember the dude's name, but they brought in like a new overall head scriptwriter, and that's where we got like all the weird existential weirdness of the show. And I love it.
Oh, dude, like one time I did a voice acting audition and I did the Simon's monologue from when he got that videotape. Just like when you first learned about the ice game, I did that as a monologue as an audition for a voice acting thing. I did it went nowhere, but I really liked that monologue.
Oh man!
But like, yeah, there's a lot of shows in New Cartoon Network that I think are good. Like, let's see, I know
Clarence.
Yeah.
There's a joke.
There's the few clips I've seen of Clarence. There's a few jokes that work. It's just kind of whatever.
No, that. I mean, I could literally just say Steven Universe, and that would trigger so many different people.
Here's the thing: I like Steven Universe, but I understand why so many people hate it. Like,
it has nice ideas. But...
yeah, I
just don't think
it gets better later. I do think this first 2 seasons of Steven Universe kind of go nowhere, and you can just kind of forget them. But once the story actually gets rolling, there is a good section in the middle where, oh man, Jailbreak is a great episode.
The biggest problem with that show, in my opinion, was the release schedule.
Yes,
it was like It's like Korra. Like Korra is not it's not the best show, but it's not a bad show. But the release schedule and the way they actually put it for the 4th season was just awful.
Mm-hmm. And one that there's a modern Cartoon Network show that it does give me classic Cartoon Network vibes. Not so much for the animation, because it is that, what's that joke people have, like fucking how animation looks the same now?
The Cal Art style.
Cal Arts, yeah, it has like similar Cal Art style. However, the writing and like all of the messaging and stuff of this show really brings me back to some of the more like down to earth like cartoons and old Cartoon Network. There's a show called Craig of the Creek.
Oh yeah,
honestly, I've seen a few episodes of Craig of the Creek. Great fucking show. I wish most modern Cartoon Network shows were like Craig of the Creek.
Like, yeah, one of my cousin's kids really liked that show.
Yeah, like,
it's a really good show. I know this. There's a guy named Ian Quincy Jones, I think his name is.
Yes.
He worked on Steven Universe. He did OK Go. If you watch OK Go.
I did not. I have heard.
I didn't watch it.
I have heard it's okay.
It's just a fun little cartoon. Also, I need to figure out whether or not this is real, but they supposedly had the lady who did like Kid Goku, Gohan back in the day, like I was saying for Daima. You know, that lady. Apparently she did the voice for the main character for a while, but they changed it, but I can never really find like when they changed it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, side tangent.
No, good. Well, like Belgian Boys, like modern Cartoon Network shows can be good, but I want to bring it back a little bit because they're in that earlier era of Cartoon Network.
We should. It got away from us.
Like it got away from it, but that's just testament. Like Cartoon Network, there's a lot to talk about.
So much.
Like I want to stick.
It's a little overwhelming.
It's a little overwhelming. Like I don't want to touch too much on Toonami because I want that to be its own thing.
Nah,
I only have.
I will do the whole thing with you on that, man. Because Toonami formed a lot of what I actually like about anime.
Toonami raised a generation of weebs.
Well, not only that, man. It's like the bumpers and everything. It was just the whole vibe.
Hell yeah.
The fact that they had a license for Hot Wheels TV shows and movies was just wild back then. Because I remember that was like pretty hype for my generation of kids growing up. Everyone was excited for Hot Wheels World Race, and
we had Outlaw Star, Gundam Wing, Gundam.
We had all those freaking animated series, and then
we had the first 12 episodes of Yu Hakusho edited as hell, though.
Immortal Grand Prix.
Oh, IGPX is really good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm looking up a full list of like shows. See if there's anything I remember. This is perfect. Here's the list of shows from beginning to end. Let's see. Well, Droopy, Top Cat, Birdman. See here. Oh, Toonheads. Okay, I remember watching Toonheads.
Toonheads. What's that one?
Like, I remember that bumper where it just shows Toonhead showing. Okay, Toonheads is an American animation anthology series consisting of Hanna-Barbera, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Warner Brothers, and Popeye cartoons. So each one basically had a theme of those like episodes that were just showing an anthology of old cartoons. It ran from 92 to 96. I watched a lot of Toonheads. That's what I remember.
I probably have seen it. I just can't think about it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going through like a list of...
God, Iron Giant. I forgot that was on Cartoon Network once.
Yeah. Like that's another thing. Cartoon Network, it mostly was like original programming, like or movies that related to their shows, but they would show like animated movies just every once in a while, like usually on Saturdays, if I remember correctly. They're just like, oh, today we're gonna watch The Land Before Time or just something, you know?
I think that's just because they're in the Time Warner Nail at the time, which was WB Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So they could do all that. I mean, Iron Giant's a WB property.
Butch and Chat Gundam Wing mentioned.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh, I would be ashamed if I didn't bring this up. One of the greatest underrated Cartoon Network shows of all time, and I'm astounded I'm not a furry after watching this. SWAT Cats.
Ah,
SWAT Cats. Oh
SWAT
yeah.
Cats is great.
If you listen to the opening song and that guitar, yeah, if that guitar riff doesn't get you hyped, there's something wrong with you.
Listen. I'm not a furry or anything, but the detective lady.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, dude.
Yeah, like goddamn, that like hits every 90s trope of what they do detective lady wise. Perfect.
Yeah.
She just looks like a fox. And I guess that's okay. I've watched a lot of anime.
There's where most of the shows aired. What a cartoon. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, what a cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where a lot of their shows got their start when they started showing off original programming, because you had like the Powerpuff Girls meet Fuzzy Lumpkins, which was the Powerpuff Girls. That's where it got its start. Dexter's Laboratory. Johnny Bravo got its start there. Let's see. There's a lot of these. Also, Seth MacFarlane had a thing on What a Cartoon. You remember that shit?
Well, remember, he also wrote for a lot of Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, he did. Courage the Cowardly Dog and the Chicken from Outer Space. Let's go.
Chicken from Outer Space. Oh, that is a core memory, actually. You just unlocked again.
Yes, sir.
I am learning so many things tonight that I forgot. My brain. Sorry, the hole in my brain has occupied a lot of my time.
Like I'm now at the segment where I'm just going through the timeline of just shows as they air for the Garfield. Oh yeah, Garfield was on Cartoon Network for a time.
I think it was early morning, if I remember, and I hated it.
Yeah, it was early morning. Let's see here. At Adams, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I never fully got into Rocky and Bullwinkle. If I'm being honest.
Never did either. I think it was just too old of a cartoon in general.
Yeah. Thundercats, Voltron. Oh, before it moved to WB full time, but Freakazoid.
Oh, I love Freakazoid, dude.
His power is just the internet.
No, his power is absurd.
Nate Dogg says, I'm not a furry, I'm just a giant scaly. It's like, hey, listen, I already have to deal with a coworker calling me a kaiju slut for no fucking reason.
Dang. Oh man, that reminds me of like what is it called? A few shows. Let's see. One of them being Camp Lazlo. As weird as that show was, goddamn.
I know of it, but that was kind of around when I didn't watch Cartoon Network.
I liked that show, but do you remember the end of Camp Lazlo?
Yeah, I thought that was weird as hell.
I thought it was hilarious. Where basically, like, you had a character that was basically Heifer from Rocko's Modern Life. He emerged with the cops and says, like, hey, I'm the real counselor. That guy tied me up and just tried to lock me in his house. And then Lump is just like, oh, I guess the jig's up, huh?
Yeah, like jig is up.
We already gone through like 2 seasons. Like, wait, what? Hold on. It's just so random. Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Cartoons. Oh, I'm seeing all the anime like fucking Tenchi Muyo.
I'm surprised that we had Dot Hack.
Another time.
Oh gosh.
Transformers. We had Transformers.
Grim and Evil.
Oh yeah, we did have X-Men. I forgot we had X-Men, that they actually showed X-Men.
I know it moved to Kids WB at some point, but now I have an excuse to talk about Jackie Chan Adventures. Woo!
Oh, Jackie Chan, yes.
What do you mean? I thought it premiered on WB.
Oh, but it still aired on Cartoon Network.
It reran in Cartoon Network.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. I also just see a show that I thought I was gaslighting myself into thinking the show existed. Cubics.
No, that was a WB show.
Yeah, okay.
I watched a lot of Cubics, man. Trust me.
I'm not gonna lie.
It exists.
When I played this game on the PlayStation 2, I did not think I'd ever see an animated series of Beautiful Joe on Cartoon Network. I thought that was the craziest shit.
Wait, what? They showed the Beautiful Joe anime?
Yeah, they did.
When?
They did.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I'm now at the era they started airing a bunch of shit like early 2000s. They just dropped a lot. Oh my gosh. Fuck it. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, there's Mucha Lucha. Code Lyoko. Okay, here's.
I mean, they are WB owned, so it's not surprising.
Yeah, that's why most of these shows are just reruns and just a lot of anime. Oh my god.
Yeah, their monopoly on anime is still progressing. I swear to God.
Nah.
See. Bobobo. So I know this is like the era that I kind of want to like lead into where it stops. So they're just like the few shows that like Ben 10. I really liked Ben 10 as a kid. Like I thought that was the coolest fucking power.
Yeah, I think I came out what 2005, 6.
Yep, 2005.
Around that time, I would have been 14 to 16, so I was kind of like falling out. But I actually really always liked the premise of Ben 10.
Yeah,
I just didn't always like it because it was Monster of the Week jazz, and I think because I was a teenager, I was like, oh, I want an overarching storyline. I've seen anime.
Yeah. Okay, I'm starting to get to the.
So I did find out that Beautiful Joe was on Cartoon Network for both Latin America and Brazil of Cartoon Network. It was never on the American.
Okay, that's why I'm confused.
I was like,
how did you see it?
I guess I saw it on
Were you in Brazil?
WB. No, it was the WB Kids. That's what I remember watching.
Probably.
I forgot if it was Cartoon Network or WB because it
was on WB Kids.
Yeah, it was on WB Kids.
Huh.
And then it really took off on the it shows here on their TV series. Like if you look it up, the Beautiful Joe TV series, it was on Kids WB, and then it really took off where it aired on the CW.
Interesting.
Wait, the more you know.
CW.
Yeah, the more you know.
Man, yeah. The more I look at these shows, like I think WB might be it's before I cover like late game Cartoon Network. I think that I would want to make an episode about Kids WB or do that tier list first because there's a lot of carryover here that I'm seeing, and it's really starting to
spillage.
Yeah, I think the last original things like original 2 Cartoon Network I watched were like Ben 10, My Gym Partner is a Monkey, because I did watch Cartoon Network through all of high school. I was that childish fucking teenager. I don't care. And that was WB too, but I watched the shit out of Shaolin Showdown.
That was on Kids WB. I watched it too. Back
reran on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
it reran.
See, that's an interesting overlap that I watched all these on WB while y'all probably saw them on Cartoon Network.
Exactly. I watched both, but crazy. Like whenever I watched Kids WB, it was usually like just Saturday mornings.
That's the only time they ever really did anything.
Oh god, like yeah, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm seeing like live action shit. It's like okay, time to go back. All right,
we have to go back.
Totally spies, holy.
But I guess, and like one more time, I guess want to ask y'all before we wrap up for this stream. What is give me like. Really take your time to think about this. But if you were to give like a top 3 or a top 5 of like favorite shows from Cartoon Network, what would you give? What y'all think about it? I'll just give my top 5 in no particular order. Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Samurai Jack.
Honestly, all 5 of those would be up there as well, man. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Cow and Chicken, Kids Next Door. I'm trying to think of like shows we haven't mentioned that I liked.
There's a lot, dude. There's a lot of old ones,
and there's a lot that I know as soon as we're done that if they're gonna come to my mind.
Yeah,
they're gonna come back tomorrow morning when you wake up for.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night. Oh shit! It was Three super dogs.
My favorite show was Goober and the Ghost Chasers. Yes, that was a real show. But
Atomic
His
Robot.
best friends forever.
oh god, Hamtaro.
Oh
Ham
god,
fucking
Ham
Taro.
fucking That wasn't a Toonami show, I don't think. So
No, it
technically,
that was cartoon.
That was Cartoon
that had to be
Network.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Oh, there's one. Time Squad.
Time
Squad. Oh, dude, that
fucking Squad. I have to mention TMNT and then freaking Teen Titans. Top favorite shows.
Dude, you're right.
How could I fucking forget about Teen Titans?
Right.
The
Okay.
OG series of Teen Titans, not the Go one. None.
Yeah. No,
OG fucking Teen Titans.
because I forgot. Like for a while, Saturday nights were like a different type of block. It was like the action block, but it's not really Toonami though.
I'm almost ashamed. I'm almost ashamed. But yeah, you know what? I no shade on Powerpuff Girls. I love them. Take them off my top 5. Replace them with Teen Titans. I feel ashamed for forgetting them.
There you go. Teen Titans with that fucking amazing intro music, the opening music, just like, oh my god.
Oh,
it was
speaking
so
of,
unique.
then another cartoon, Hi Puffy Amiyumi.
Yep, I was going to segment 2, so I thought that was crazy.
I love the music
Crazy.
of that and Class of 3000.
Class of 3000.
Class of 3000.
Class of 3000. Sing.
See, there's stuff I'm forgetting.
Yeah, we're getting old, man. Cartoon
It's not
Network.
really old. It's just, I mean, they're well known, I guess, but they're not. You know what I mean?
Much.
Yeah,
They're not relevant. Let's be honest. Some of these shows are, stuck in the past.
Well,
sadly.
Also, part of it, as we said earlier, Cartoon Network, they had so many shows, and like every time they would try to like new pilots and new episodes of all these new things every day, 24/7 for like almost 2 decades now. At that point, so there are some shows that maybe only appear for like a few weeks or something that you're gonna forget about. It's just a matter of quantity.
Yeah, total drama. That's crazy. I know that's probably later, like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
But dang, I forgot that show existed, to be honest.
Or y'all remember 16?
Oh god.
Yeah, God, I've seen so much porn of that.
What?
Oh, trust me, it exists.
I believe you.
Obviously,
I believe you, and I'm not gonna look it up. Okay, and
Gooners.
fucking Gooners, man.
We used to call them purrs in my time.
Back in my day, we just called them horny, and we'd been done with it. Fucking the Beyblade show. Gosh.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about Batman Beyond as well. Holy moly, I forgot that had multiple Batman series.
So there's a lot.
That was on WB though.
There's a lot from WB. And I'm intentionally not talking. Teen Titans was a special case because it was almost only on. Actually, it was only on Cartoon Network.
No, it was only on Cartoon Network. It might have moved to WB, but it premiered on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, but like the like Justice League, Unlimited, Static Shock, Batman,
Justice League. Oh,
yeah. See,
if you've never seen Justice League, go watch those shows. Like it still holds up. It's very mature for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited are both streaming on Netflix, I think. Like
I think Max. Well, probably not anymore because it's Max.
I do have Justice League on DVD, which I'm so fucking happy about. But I one of my favorite superhero shows though was Static Shock, and it still shocks me how it is my favorite, considering that I am not the
stupidest thing.
That relates to
the stupidest thing about Static Shock is that they really didn't do anything with it.
Yes,
he's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah,
like
he literally flies around in like a little portable trash can lid. It sounds really lame, but when you see it in action, it's the coolest thing.
It even had like going back, there was like some PSA episodes, but they were done so mature. Oh my god. I watched the Gun episode again recently. Like
I was about to say, like, yeah, I don't think people would want to write the Gun episode because there's no way they could really do it nowadays like that.
Yeah. Like just show all of Static Shock from beginning to end. Like it's a great
But they just didn't they just didn't do anything after. I mean, sure, he appears in Justice League as an older Static Shock, but that's kind of it.
Like,
yep, that's true.
The show, now to be fair, the show does technically have an ending. It's not like the best ending, but unlike some like Teen
Well,
yeah,
I just meant like they just haven't done anything with the IP.
with
like,
the IP.
so
Okay,
good because it ties into all of DC stuff.
yeah.
Like if you write like a Static Shock series and then all of a sudden you just throw in Batman, there you go. They did that in the cartoon, sure, but like do that live action.
James Gunn, as mentioned recently, he wants to do something with him, but it's like please, like, and I don't want to make anything political shit, but all this talk in the last like two decades about just like, oh, just talk about like last 2 decades, like, oh, appropriation, oh, we need more representation, all this stuff, and no one has thought to do like adaptations or air Static Shock. I 100% agree with you. People talk about we need more black superheroes. We got like the best fucking one in the 90s. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a good cartoon. It's a good character.
All right.
There's a lot of good villains in that show too, who got like nice redemption.
We are starting to get a little bit like out of pocket, a little bit out of.
Oh yeah,
losing the script. So before we keep losing it again, my last words for sure. If you haven't watched Cartoon Network, didn't grow up with it, I deeply encourage you to just look up the shows, look up the shorts, everything you can, because some of the classics, they're still funny. They're still worth your time.
I agree.
I guess with that, I now have a few other ideas for shows that I'm going to have to do episodes on different animation blocks, and I intentionally didn't bring up all the unique movies exclusive to Cartoon Network, like the Will Come Home for the Foster's movie and stuff like that. But no, that's time for another day. And I think with that, start to wrap things up a little bit. Thank y'all for joining me today, and thank everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody, you two and everybody in the chat for helping me deal with the fucking technical issues I had for a solid hour. I'm still upsetty about that. But
it happens, man. Don't worry.
But there's been no interruption. I knock on wood. I think now is time to move on to the wheel. And I mentioned earlier.
The wheel.
Yes, the wheel. The wheel. As I mentioned before, I did change a few things on the wheel. I removed crossovers because again, it felt a little more vague. I wanted to specify things a little bit. I tried to add things that either I could narrow this down to a few select movies, or were by their nature just more narrowed down. So the options are guilty pleasures, Adam Sandler comedies, which I almost put in quotations.
Ooh.
But no, I put classic Universal monsters.
Oh, okay.
All right.
One category called "What the fuck did I just watch?" Because I'm pretty sure everyone could think of like 2 or 3 movies that you just look at and go, "The fuck was that?" Hand drawn Disney films.
Oh, that's a good one.
Specifically hand drawn. Like I would. There's a lot of good movies to talk about, but yeah, older Disney obviously. Based on a true story. There are good movies that fall in that category. And last, this is a very specific, but Jurassic Park movies. We're now at that point where the 7th one's about to show up. It's a good time to put that on the wheel. And of course, the last category is called The Guest Decides. When it's landed on that twice now. Draco got it once, Griffin got it last time. If it lands there, we let the guest decide. I have 2 guests this time. I'll let y'all fight.
Let it land.
We'll figure that out once we get there. But like for now, let me full screen this bad boy and we'll spin this wheel. And everything's visible. Wait. Oh shit! What the fuck did I just watch?
Huh?
That's the category. Is what the fuck did I just watch?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Griffin just put finally because he knows what one of the movies I'm going to talk about is, and well, he's the one who initially suggested
What
that
movie?
for the wheel. It's one of the Blob movies. It's for
what movies?
The Blob. There's a specific one.
Oh,
and that's
I've only seen the first. Yeah,
there's a specific one. I won't go into too much detail, but let's just say there's not many movies that will just play in the background. Something will appear on screen, and it just shuts me up and just makes my brain short circuit with whatever I'm looking at. There's not many movies that could do that, but but that yeah. Next time, 2 weeks from now, I'll look into make sure there's no more issues on the technical variety next time. I swear.
You're fine, man. Technology be technology.
Also, that one's just been on there for a while. It has. But y'all have given me a lot to think about for other future installments. I've already thought about like a tier list for specifically the Fox superhero films.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I think now a Kids WB / Jetix show tier list.
Jetix, oh my
God. Oh my god.
Extreme.
I used to get up early in the mornings. My stepdad would make scrambled eggs almost every morning, and I'd watch Beyblade.
Yep, same. Beyblade.
Y'all also disappointed by like Beyblade.
That reminds me of Digimon. Oh god.
Hey, I am a Digimon kid till the day I die, dude. I love Digimon.
I love the old Fox Kids ones.
Yeah.
Digimon, bro.
Damn it, that Digimon's gonna have to be its own thing. Once they get more established, I'm gonna have to make Digimon its own thing because I know Pokemon's more centered around the games, but I do feel Digimon is more centered around the anime than anything else. So it feels more appropriate to talk about it on this podcast.
So that means you're gonna have to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh at some point then if you're going to WB.
I will talk about the live action Yu-Gi-Oh on Tubi. I will. Don't tempt me.
Wait, what?
There's a live action Yu-Gi-Oh on Tubi.
Is it Japanese?
No.
Nope.
Oh no!
It literally looks like a bunch of theater school kids just made a movie on Tubi.
I'm the Yu-Gi-Oh baby.
Yep.
Yes, Griffin. Yes, Griffin. We're talking about this. Yu-Gi-Oh aired on Cartoon Network, so it's appropriate. I'm gonna keep bringing it up. It looks so bad. Every time I see like the thumbnail showing the actors, my first thought is just, why does Joey Wheeler look like Marv?
Joey Wheeler.
Yeah, no, the guy they got to play Joey Wheeler like looks like Marv from Home Alone.
When he gets electrocuted, right?
No, just normally. It's like they got a 40-year-old dude with a beard and short hair to play Joey. It's fucking weird.
Yep. That sounds more than I remember.
Nah, but if you ever have the Toonami one, let me know. I want to sit on that one.
Absolutely. It's like I in addition to I'm going to stick with movies for a little bit. I'll probably but like every once in a while I'm going to throw in things like those classic cartoon blocks and maybe other like stuff that are worth talking about.
Yeah, and I know we've probably missed so much of what Cartoon Network had because there's just too much of what they did in general.
Absolutely. Like I already know, like if I'm gonna break this down into segments, like I'm gonna have like there's gonna be a Toonami episode, there's gonna be a Nickelodeon game show episode, there's gonna be a Nickelodeon cartoons episode, there's gonna be a Disney live action movie episode, like all like the 13th year and those kind of fucking movies under wraps. That's gonna be it.
The 13 wasn't that a Disney Channel movie about a mermaids?
Yeah, about a kid who turned 13 and started turning into a mermaid because like his actual mom was a mermaid and like let him live on land.
But wouldn't he be a merman?
Dude, it was a weird fucking movie, man. I mean,
don't know what to tell you. They're the same thing, but
dude, it was a weird fucking movie. I don't know what to tell you.
Weird. dude, that's the thing. 90s Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah, dude, because there were some good ones in there, like Halloween Town.
Brink.
Some of them were Brink.
Brink was the coolest thing I saw as a kid about inline skating, and then inline skating died.
Yeah, right. But no, like, there's all these different segments and all these different kid shows, and again, if you're watching, I'm gonna be more active on putting the link to the Discord on the YouTube as well as on my Twitch below. But like, I have a chat dedicated to just more ideas. If y'all have a theme for any topics you want us to just ramble on about and talk about, just some of our favorites, and just sit around for 2 hours and go, I remember, I'll do it. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all again for being here. Yeah, y'all have anything else you want to say?
Not at the top of my head, no. I thought it was pretty fun. I liked how things went, and yeah, it was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah. Well, wrap up the theater. Y'all have a good evening.
Ta-ta, people.
Bye.